Kubrick. Oh gosh.
Oh man,
So,
this guy.
So let's talk about Eyes Wide Shut.
Who watched it?
Yeah.
Did anybody watch it?
Has anyone watched it? If you've seen it before,
It's got a lot of these masks in it.
you watched
for
it.
a period.
Cool. Americans value being friendly and extroverted over being honest. That's not true of all Americans, but that I will try to find a way to be truthful, but also, yeah. The more I know you, the more frank I'm gonna be with you, and I'm concerned with people's feelings a lot, for better or for worse. Yes. The kids loved it. Oh my gosh.
Mug Monster, you got the box set. Me too.
Yeah. The Blu-ray box set?
Yeah.
The visionary filmmaker?
What does that one look like?
It's blue as opposed to red. There is a red
Mine's
one that costs...
real fancy. It's got you got to unpack it. It's got
is
a
it like
booklet.
this big?
Yeah.
You bought that one.
I got it for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna buy it because here's what I did.
And it is amazing.
I bought. Oh man. It's probably like $50 or maybe like $100.
I don't know. I got it as a gift.
I bought. Yeah. Cool.
And I have Kubrick's coffee table book that I also got. I'm a big Kubrick guy.
Yeah.
And I got his coffee table book, which is the best movie coffee table book I've ever seen. It's about this big. It's red, and it goes into each movie and the history of his work, and it's got amazing photos and things like that. And
have you seen this one?
What? Oh, dude.
The Stan
What a
Winston
wonderful
effect.
Christmas present.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Dude. No, I can't get into this.
No,
but
no,
I'm
you
gonna
can't.
look. I'm gonna go through that later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So a couple of people have watched it. Cool.
Miss most people because you don't have a way to watch them. So what I usually do, and I have stopped doing this, which I maybe need to go back to doing, is I usually post links. I was posting links to like the YouTube, whatever, and it's like $3. But usually a good thing to do is if there's a library around your area, most of the time, depending on how many libraries you have, someone's going to have it, usually. Thank you, sir. I never saw someone based on the creepy guy in the mask behind the logo. No, they never will. Nah, man.
This is only for a portion of the film.
I've always thought this guy looked like William Sadler. Like like a lot.
It does.
Like to me, it's...
I can't not see that now. That looks like William freaking Sadler.
To me,
that's
that
really funny.
I know. It's always been that. I was like,
wow.
I was like, and there's William Sadler, and then like
that's
he's in the
so
movie to
funny. Wow. All right, and cut to William Sadler.
Yep.
All right, cut away. All right, we're good.
What do everyone wears masks like this? Yeah. Well, have you seen the movie, Don Beach? I'll tell you how I watched most of the films you've seen in the last 8 years. I've watched them with your own eyes. Yes. No, you love William Sadler. I love William Sadler. I love William Sadler.
William Sadler.
I love William Sadler. I love William Sadler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demon Knight, Die Hard 2, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the Shia LaBeouf vehicle, whatever it was that was through Project Greenlight. Whatever.
Shawshank.
Say it loud for those in the... No, I love... Yes. Anyway, so let's talk about this. This is Stanley Kubrick's final film.
He delivered the final cut and screened it for Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and executives at Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
His final cut. So it was his final cut. He screened it for him, and then 6 days later he died. So it was like he, through sheer passion of wanting to finish his last project, he saw it through to the end, and then he passed away.
Yeah.
And there's been weird conspiracy theories
all
ever since about, because of the nature of what this movie talks about and the whole Illuminati aspect and, you know, cults and all that stuff, that people were like, oh, he got offed.
Yeah. By the Illuminati. For making a film about the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Being like, guys,
in a very ambiguous way that doesn't really say too much about it. It's, you know.
I read a little too much about it.
Me too.
Well,
I read a lot last night.
I read not enough, but also too much. Stanley Kubrick didn't direct Freddy Got Fingered. Not that I'm aware of. It may have been one of his unfinished projects that he didn't get to, like AI. Probably AI, and then Freddy Got Fingered was next. That's not true. This is looking way too into the few minutes. That is looking way too into the few minutes of culture. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. To me, I understand where that comes from. Certainly.
Oh, we'll get into it.
And there's like rainbow,
there's,
there's imagery that
I don't think that's a lot of people view that through they view this movie through that Illuminati prism,
right?
Almost exclusively,
right.
As if the entire movie is about that. I don't view it that way at all.
Sure.
And I think there's two tracks going on in this movie. I think it's analyzing relationships and marriage, and then I think there is it is analyzing power structures within society.
Sure.
But I think it's all wrapped around Tom Cruise's character and how he views himself, because at the beginning of this movie, he's a very confident.
Let's
just get into it. Do you want to describe? Should we give a brief synopsis off IMDb or anything?
Sure. Here,
okay.
let me grab this over here, and then
I'll say this right out of the gate. Nicole Kidman, her character, her name is Alice. We'll just call her Alice. Tom Cruise's name is Bill, Dr. Bill. Mm-hmm. Alice should not be smoking pot. Oh my gosh, she should not be smoking pot.
I mean,
because it's not that it happened once; it happens twice. Like, she goes to sleep and then she gets up and she's like, "I had this dream where I was fucking all these men, and I'm gonna tell you about it
a lot."
Yeah, she says it a lot.
Yeah. Which, like, sure, okay. A New York City doctor, Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. A New York City doctor pushes himself on a harrowing and dangerous night-long odyssey of sexual and moral discovery after his wife admits that she once almost cheated on him. Not even like almost cheated on him. Thought very intensely about cheating on him. Wasn't sure what was going to happen if she had the opportunity of cheating on to cheat on him, but didn't come close to actually physically cheating on him.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
It is fascinating. It didn't even talk to this
the crux of all Tom Cruise's actions in this film come from his wife telling him while she's high on weed that she had a fantasy about a sailor one time
when they were on a family vacation.
Yeah. And she fantasized and even considered that if given the opportunity where the sailor was like, "I want to have sex with you just for one night," she thought she might do it and give up everything just to do it.
She says, like, and that monologue is about the most. It's about the most, like, interpersonal, so what I call, like, relationship horror. Like,
yes,
it's like, and there aren't many examples. Because I got it. I was trying to think of, I don't know. I got it in my head. I was like, I want to write a short about, like, that feeling, relationship horror. But I couldn't think of any. I mean, I was just kind of, that sort of came to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm interested in that for some reason. And then not until just now did I recall that sort of, where, like, this is the prime example of that. Yeah. Where it's just like a conversation or something like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf or something. It's like my goodness gracious, it's harrowing. But the person's just being honest.
But the person's being honest, but it's also completely justified because the movie starts with them going to a Christmas party where Tom Cruise openly flirts with two models, and Nicole Kidman sees this, and then she sees him disappear, and he goes upstairs to help Sidney Pollack's character, who's a very ultra elite, super wealthy power player in the world of politics or whatever. It's not really explained, but he has a hooker upstairs that that he was having sex with. And he tells Tom Cruise not to tell anyone about it, but Tom Cruise is a doctor, and he asks him to help her, get out of the building and be very discreet about it. Yeah. But Nicole Kidman assumes that he disappeared with the two models, and so when they get home after the party, they're smoking pot in their bedroom, and she kind of casually brings it up, where she was like, "What about those two models tonight?" She's kind of coy about it, but like, you can tell that she has been stewing about it.
Sure.
I also have to say that, like, it's easy to, like, I could see why someone would be like, I didn't like how Nicole Kidman played this, because she's playing it boozy and then, like, giggly high, and then like, she's almost kind of borderline unlikable, but that's kind of the point.
It is.
And I also think it's two of their best roles ever, because Kubrick inherently cast them. Like, I think this is one of Tom Cruise's best roles, but I say that because I think Kubrick cast him because he was like, oh, Tom Cruise does this thing where he's always on with everyone he interacts with in the most pleasant way possible. And he needed someone to be in a role where they're inherently wearing a mask in their own life, even with their wife.
Sure.
And so that's why I think, because like he does this tick throughout the movie where he constantly is repeating what people say
that
to
happens
him.
So much. Well, they both do it. It's
But
much.
particularly
So
with Tom Cruise, where
Yeah.
he's constantly just repeating, and it's like like a social thing that he does to be charming. Yeah. Like, and he does it while he's thinking of his next line to be charming.
Absolutely.
And how to navigate. So he comes off as a very disingenuous person to me.
Sure.
But also someone who is overly confident in his lot in life. And so when they're smoking pot and she's like, what about those two models? And he was like, I would never do that. And I don't think he would.
No.
Because he prides himself on the having a successful business as a doctor, having a beautiful wife, a daughter, a very gorgeous apartment on Central Park West. You know, like he prides himself on being the good husband.
Sure, absolutely.
Yet at the same time, he still flirts with these two models openly, and they kind of lead him away from the party. And he's like, where are we going?
Yeah.
And then he gets called away to go upstairs. But as he's walking away, he goes, to be continued.
Right. So you go, come on, man.
So he even though he's not, he would never, I don't think his character would ever actually commit and have sex with another person. No. I think he's essentially doing what Nicole Kidman does to him in the very next scene when they're smoking pot, which is he absolutely has ideas about it and thinks about it. And to say that he doesn't, or that anyone doesn't have that thought at some point when they're in a committed relationship is absurd.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's yeah. I mean,
there's a lot going on in this movie.
There is, and it's interesting. It's interesting what you're saying. So what we've been talking about is what happens in the movie. They go to a party. Tom Cruise is this doctor, and what's interesting is I get the feeling that, specifically from the way it's staged, that those two women initiated it.
Yes.
That they came up to him and started flirting and whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's going along with it. Absolutely. And I don't know. And
he's flattered by it.
Of course.
Because to him, it's another brush of the ego of
course.
I'm the successful doctor. Women want me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to act on it, but it's nice to know.
It is nice to have that. Sure, of course. And and I think he does relish in that sort of energy, of course.
That's a great way of the energy of it.
Well, I mean, that's what like it that happens, right? Like let's talk. We should get my wife in here. Just to make but like that happens, and we talk about that as well. And as actors, the same thing. It's like you have to be in a role with someone, but even if you're not an actor, you meet people and there is sexual chemistry or there's energy that plays between you, and you can't. What are you gonna do? Like, you don't have to pursue it. You don't have to embellish it. You don't have to focus on it. But sometimes the best way to deal with it is you can get freaked out by it. The best way to deal with it is we're just humans and this is just happening, and you play with it and it's over.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Nicole Kidman gets resentful because of how he prides himself on being the devoted husband, even though she knows that. Because look, they've been married for 9 years. They have a picture perfect to the outside world, picture perfect life. Sure. But I think they're both in a comatose relationship where true intimacy is something that is very lacking in their relationship. And I kind of think that's the whole point of the movie, is that they are ghosting through life. And it's not until he comes home at the very end, completely shattered, to find that mask on the pillow next to her, and then he says, I will tell you everything. He finally begins to have true intimacy with her, because even though he doesn't like what she's saying, she's at least being honest and a real person about it.
Exactly. It's almost like she needed, not she needed it, but that needed to happen to break through that veneer.
Yes.
That he had. That everything is, because you're right. Like he is like I don't know. Like he prides himself on being a good person, and I like a doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he probably does do most shit right. Like he.
Oh, I think so too.
Like he is a good dude, and he's kind of like a simple dude, and he's kind of like an innocent dude, and he's like an innocent in the sense of like a kind of babe in the woods a little bit, where he's like, I get from his performance that this just happened, and like and it certainly works to cast Tom Cruise for this reason as well, and also primarily, and also whatever, as he goes through the movie. People are constantly trying to have sex with him. Constantly.
Yes.
Alan Cumming is trying to have sex with him.
Oh, it's yeah.
And I mean, like, there's infidelity in every scene.
Yes.
I mean, there's a theme of infidelity in every scene, which my wife said, and absolutely is true. Like, and it's like, and I think he just goes through life and is this, and he is this rich, handsome doctor, and just deals with that. And he's like, cool, I get to play in this for a little while. I get to play in this for a little while. I get to play in this for a little while. It feels good. It's harmless, and I go home.
Yeah, because I mean, this is why.
But he does lie to her.
He has a ritualistic. I mean, that's why the entire idea of like this cult ritual that happens halfway through the movie that plays out in his own life and what we see in the first half of the film, particularly in the Christmas party and with their marriage, is that when I say like they're going through life kind of ghosting,
Sure.
It's because they have a very ritualistic way of living their life, where they're hitting all the right beats that society says this is what makes for a happy life.
Right.
But you can see that there's no passion there anymore.
Sure.
Or maybe there never was, because they're both living their successful roles in life,
Sure.
but they're not communicating with each other in any meaningful, real, intimate way.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like that line. I like what you wrote a lot, Collie West. He's got no idea what's going on in her head, and he's forgotten to care.
Yeah.
He just is sort of like, it's been a while since I watched the movie. There's like a bearded guy who runs a costume. Yes, Red Chirurgia. He's
in The Saint.
He's very 90s dude.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
I love
him.
Whenever he pops up, I'm like, oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And then he's like in Batman Begins, I think, at one point.
Maybe.
He's like a homeless guy by the fire, and he sees Batman going. He's like, nice coat or something.
I always see him pop up in these weird small roles where I go,
Yeah.
he's too big for that.
I know, he's so great.
I go, well, and not even like, and like, yes, he is, but I also kind of go like, oh, you took me out of it,
Yeah.
because you cast that guy.
Yeah, right.
I know who that is. I mean, it's weird. It's like seeing, like walking by. It's not quite this, but it's like seeing like there's a homeless guy in the scene for a second, and it's Anthony Hopkins or something. And I
Yeah.
go, Wait, what?
Right.
This is distracting.
I want to scroll up because Ken Goldblood said
Yeah.
some stuff.
Here it acted similar to the party. We can't really tell what would have happened with those girls. Yeah, I mean, you're right. She's flirting right back at the dude. I don't think...
And I think that's why it's so beautifully... I don't think either one of them had any notion of doing it,
Right.
but they have no problem entertaining themselves because they're fucking bored.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're just... And it is sort of this, like...
Because she immediately... Like, she leaves. She's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom once they get to the party.
He keeps like...
And then... Because he's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Nightingale. She's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. She immediately gets the nearest champagne, drinks it down in one gulp.
Right.
And then the next time we see her, she's hammered.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because she doesn't really want to be, she doesn't like this. She's just like, this is another night doing another thing where and I mean, one of her first lines at the party is like, do you know any of these people?
Yeah.
Like, do you know any? And he's like, no, but this is what happens when you make house calls.
Yeah. That's what you were gonna say, Zango. Yeah. Same thing. Agreed. And like I saw him pop up. It's just you have a second where, but it's weird because he's a big I don't know how you say it. Rada.
I don't know his name now.
But every time he pops up, I have that reaction. And I go, oh, you took me out of it for a second. So I need to adjust the world of this movie to where this dude is this character because he's such a larger than life, or he just is such a presence. And to me, is like, I go, oh, okay, you cast him. That's a choice in terms of like, now I have to deal with. But it's weird. I have that sense of him, but yet I only know him from these small things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, you cast that big actor, but I'm like, is he a big actor? I just see him a lot in these
he's
small
just
roles.
he's a well-known character. I mean, to
Really?
filmy people, I think
Yeah.
I think they'd be like, oh yeah, he's from
He's
all
like
those other things.
he's like Peter Stormare from Armageddon, who like is the guy who, gosh darn it, like Peter Stormare. Like there's just no, like this dude. Okay, Google. Please.
Fancy.
Peter Stormare. No promises. What did she say? What's happening? Hold on. This is gonna work. Peter Stormare.
According to Wikipedia,
Swedish.
Rolf Peter
Oh, yeah.
That dude.
known
Yeah.
professionally
And
as
he
He's
kind
in
of
all Michael Bay movies.
Yes, yes, and he gets put into these movies. Okay, yeah.
And fucking Fargo.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he gets put in these movies in these small roles, like kind of these like one-off roles sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost get the feeling the director's just like, oh, sure, like casting sent me this guy in there, and I go, no, that's a person who I know well.
Yeah.
And if you put him in that role, I go, what? Is he gonna come back? What? You can't. He's not just that. It's weird. It's
Yeah,
interesting. It's the same
right.
kind of thing. There's got guys with flashbacks to look forward to. Sorry, Lobfin. Sorry, I read what you said earlier, and he was saying that he had sort of a similar thing, but she followed through and cheated on. I'm sorry, man. This definitely stirs up. I mean, gosh, you can't sit. You cannot. To me, the last time I saw this movie was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my senior year of high school, and that monologue from Nicole Kidman, I can't imagine another person not being just harrowed.
I
by
don't
that,
think you can
unsettled by it.
appreciate this movie until you're a little bit older and you've had at least one relationship that's kind of gone to shit.
Sure.
Or at least
Sure.
you've been in a relationship with enough ups and downs.
Sure.
And even a successful relationship, but where you've taken a beating, you've learned some things.
Sorry. Yes,
I saw that,
totally
yeah.
agree. Sorry. Yeah. I think this is. I'm really tempted to do it because I think it's really funny, but we got a message from someone one time that they're like. They left a message on a video of my brother and I were streaming or something, and we started going like, Alexa, and saying stuff, and I would just be like, so I'll pause so nothing happens, blah 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 blah, and then I'd be like, look up pornography, or I would say whatever or something, and like or just like and it just like would do like we went on a bit.
That's
for, like,
amazing that it does it through.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, South Park did that thing where they like did it. Apparently, they did an episode where they just kept
Oh,
making
really?
points. People
That's
go crazy.
funny.
But I was like, oh, it's a super fun time, and like, oh, maybe it was serious. I was like, oh, it's a great bit. And it was really funny. Well, not like we wrote it, but it was just kind of like, oh, it happened. It was so fun, like great.
Yeah.
And then someone wrote a message. They're like, I was up at 2:00 in the morning because I was listening to because we put on like VODs of streams to be on during while we sleep, and we woke up at 2 in the morning because YouTube idiots were saying Alexa do this blah blah blah, and it just blasted some like death metal something in the middle of and I was like, oh, I feel terrible. So I'll try not to do that again, even though I think it's really funny. It's really funny to make someone's like. Anyway.
Okay, Google.
Okay, yeah. Please play Never Gonna Give You Up. Feel bad too easily. That's their problem. That's true. Or no, I don't know. Anyway. Sorry. Yes, you're saying it's hard to really connect with this movie unless you've had a relationship.
Well, I just think you appreciate this movie
Sure.
on a much more on a much deeper level. Like it resonated. I've seen this movie a lot, but this was probably the first time I've seen it since I've been in my most recent. I'm in a serious relationship, and it's been going on for a couple of years now, and
Tabloids.
But I appreciated it in a much different way this time.
Sure.
And a lot of that stuff really did hit home a lot harder, and because being in a relationship takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta have moments where you kind of look at each other and it's like, hey, we need to, like, maybe we're going through the motions a little bit. Let's just have a sit down where we just talk to each other and just really like look at each other and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, because you can fall into especially when you start living with someone, you can fall into a pattern and you can just start coexisting and instead of like really communicating with each other on a daily basis. Totally. It happens.
Absolutely.
And it's absolutely normal.
And then you just need to go to a clandestine mask orgy and get a little bit of a scare, because really it ends up being like really intense couples therapies.
Yeah, right.
Is the upshot of this movie. Yeah, totally. But the main point is, okay, Google, what is a rutabaga? And the thing is that.
Well, let me ask you this: what did you What did you not?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
What did you not like about this movie?
No, I don't. So this is what it is. We need to like, I need to, because I was like, hey, are you ready to? That's the sound I make every time I text.
That's how I
It's
read
really
it too,
weird
yeah.
in public. I go, oh, click go, and then I was like, who are you texting? I go, I'm just opening the app. I'm just getting ready. It's across the room. What is this sorcery? Okay, Google, please play "What a Man" by Salt and Pepper. So anyway, I texted him. I was like, "Are we doing Eyes Wide Shut?" And jokes on you. That's already playing. What was that?
I heard that before.
Yeah, I think that's the. Remember that time we had to go downstairs and we had a baseball bat?
Yeah,
We were like-
yeah.
we were ready. I was like, "Hey, you watching Eyes Wide Shut?" Or I think I called him.
No, you said, hey, have you watched
Okay,
Eyes
right.
Wide? Doesn't hold up too well.
Oh, hasn't aged well.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
hasn't
exactly.
aged
Sure,
well.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm literally.
Oh, hot take.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm literally sitting down to watch it right now. And then I texted him 2 hours later, and I was like, nope, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Depths for days. Like,
Now that was just a kind of okay. That's the second one. Now I'm gonna get an email from the Kubrick estate, and also that correspondent who's I'm sure a huge Kubrick fan because she should be, because everyone should be.
hey,
Hey,
model
what's-
correspondent.
Yeah, me again. You're still a dick. No, I really this movie holds a place in my heart. I love this movie. I really like it.
I watched it last night, and I was like, I think it might have become my
Your
favorite
favorite
Kubrick.
It
I
was.
just think there's so much to him. Like, we're not going to be able to get
No.
close to everything that I want to talk about tonight because there's so much. I was writing out shit, and I was like, there's no way we can cover all this. Like, it's so dense.
It got really dissed when I read when it came out, so you skipped it. The reviews were like Cruise and Kidman, no chemistry, and in sex thriller, Kubrick, an old perv now spoiled his legacy. Yikes. People destroyed this when it came out. And I again was a senior high school. I wasn't aware that it when it doesn't like Eyes Wide Shut because you watched it. Tom Cruise wearing John Marston. Let's go back to that, please. So I was blown away. This is great. This is the first time you see the movie. I always go in full immersion style. I believe it. So I don't normally analyze much until the second time. I totally agree with that.
Totally, man.
Totally understand.
That's the way to do it.
Now, yes, and I oh man, what a great feeling to watch. What a great experience to watch it for the first time. And I watched it again as a senior in high school. Because I'm old, and was just totally enraptured by it, and just totally taken in, and just like the gun, bum, 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 and they turn, and I just was like, what? I mean, it just is such a thing. It just draws you in, and you're in it, and it's just such a great place to be, a great and terrifying place to be, and it made such an impression on me. Those Nicole Kidman monologues, certainly the first one's just stuck with me.
Yeah, it's piercing.
It's just so, man, it made such a tremendous impact, and it also was a seminal film for me. No pun intended. Sorry. Sorry.
Hold on, I gotta write you an email real quick.
Oh gosh, sorry. Wait. All person sex was awesome. You tell me that, and I'm like, well, let's see what this is about. You're right, exactly. Because it was a movie that came along, and it was sort of one of the movies. It came to me at a time where I was starting to kind of discover adult films, which sounds like, but no, I was like, oh, the first time I was like, there are movies out there that are made specifically for adults in a way that. I don't know that there's stuff that like it's like the kind of like mature content that kids would be bored by, but it's so they don't want to watch it, but it's something that like appeals to you. I don't know, even though like I don't know, you could watch Eyes Wide Shut as a kid and be like, whoa.
Yeah.
It really kind of opened my eyes to that. It was just kind of one of those movies that came along at that time where I was maturing as a film goer or as a consumer of film. And so it made such an impact, and it's close to my heart for that reason. Rewatching it, His sexual evidence with the actors working on considering how many retakes. Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, we can talk about that. Going back and watching it and sitting there with my wife watching it. It's some of the performances early on. I just was like, oh my gosh, I can't. I know that like I understand, and those are two tremendous actors and tremendous movie stars. The reason I said it felt dated was it felt like something that was so incredibly controversial. Thing is beeping. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Controversial and so stunning and so just on the edge for the time. Especially for something that was like pseudo mainstream, right? That was like at pretty much every theater. It almost felt like a play at some points, and not in a way that, because there are movies that feel like plays, and I'm like, that's great, I love it. But early on, it just sort of, I didn't find it compelling anymore, and it was parts of it at the beginning. And then it gets into it, and I go, okay, cool.
But like what parts?
Those early scenes between Cruise and Kidman, the way she's playing inebriated, the way he's responding, the repetition, which yes, like I get it, and it does sort of it.
I think the repetition is intentional and
of course
vastly important.
Sure, and it does sort of. I kind of paint him as this person who's, because you're right, he uses it in very different ways, and it's interesting. Like
he uses it in different ways throughout the entire movie,
absolutely.
but it's all calculated.
Yeah, and he is a very calculated person,
and he's a very like it's part and parcel for his character. I can understand why people criticize the way she acts, particularly in the party scene, and even somewhat during her wonderful monologue.
The monologue's great,
but the giggly stuff and stuff, like it's. I won't even. I'm not even gonna argue that because I can understand why some. I like it because it just kind of lures me into this kind of dreamlike thing.
Sure, it does. And
with like all and
it's
like
true.
I'll talk about the Christmas lights and how that's a massive visual metaphor.
Sure.
But it works for me because it does feel off.
It does.
And yet I feel like when you're talking with someone like Kubrick,
right,
who I mean, this movie shot for 400 days.
Right.
It was the longest shoot, and it's still the record holder for the longest shoot of all time.
Right.
Like he everything that's in there he does for a very specific reason. And
definitely,
I think he's trying to show the phoniness of both of these people.
Sure.
And the phoniness of the party in and of itself, because I think the Christmas party is a direct there's the Christmas party, and then the orgy that comes later on is a direct mirror of what we've of this Christmas party, and it's the same party, but you're seeing it on a completely different level. The Christmas party up front is the artificial societal, like, this is where we all wear our monkey suits and we dress up real nice. And but we're all thinking, like, the guy's hitting on his wife, everybody's thinking about sex and wanting to fuck and all this stuff, and then later on everybody's wearing a mask and literally wearing a mask and then fucking and yet there's still, in both circumstances, there's absolutely zero intimacy that's being that's being exhibited whatsoever, like on both fronts, like even the sex. Like, for all the talk of, like, sex in this movie, that orgy scene is it is not tantalizing whatsoever. Yeah. It's just creepy. Yeah, and the way he films it, where he's just passing by in these long dollies and stuff, and people are just banging away. Yeah. But you're not focusing on it. You're literally just passing by it. Yeah. And it's not sexy. None of it's sexy.
No, the movie's not sexy.
It's not a sexy movie,
I mean, occasionally. But, like, but no. It's, you're right. It's like, it is... I mean, I buy that. I buy that the phoniness is that the not feeling, because I had the same.
It's paramount to, like, the whole movie. It's like them being phony at the beginning, including her. Like
Yes.
she because she she's like when she's talking with the Italian guy or that's wooing her at the party scene, he's like, "What do you do?" And it's like, "Oh, I owned an art studio."
He talks like this and
Yeah.
says, "I am Hungarian."
Yeah.
And I this and that.
And I loved him. I mean,
yeah,
but that's me. But
yeah.
like she says she's like, I owned an art studio or an art gallery,
Yeah.
and it failed
Yep.
completely.
Yep.
And I think that's born in like that one line of dialogue that is so easy to miss
Sure.
is such an important part
Totally.
of like justifying how her character acts, because I think she resents her lot in life, even though she quote unquote from the outside has a perfect life.
Right. And she doesn't.
But she's not satisfied.
Right. And her gallery failed, and then if it just they had children, and he's working all the time, and he's more than supporting the family.
Yeah,
so they don't,
but
so
she's
she has
been
no reason to do it, but
she's
but
resorted to a trophy wife.
Totally.
And it's why she gets as pissed as she does when they're smoking pot. It's what leads to the argument essentially, because he's asking about the man that was hitting
Right.
on her, and he's like, "Oh, he just wanted something from me." He's like, "What?" And he's like, "Sex." And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, so this guy wanted to fuck my beautiful wife."
Yeah.
And he got off on that idea. He was proud that someone wanted to have
It's
sex
true.
with his wife.
Absolutely.
Because he also knew
yep.
that she would never cheat on him, because he wouldn't cheat on her.
Yeah.
And he believed in this idea, this ritualistic idea that we're all fitting our roles here, and I know you won't cheat on me. And she kind of just blows up because all this stuff's built up inside her. She's like, I'm not just your fucking piece of meat beautiful wife.
Right.
And you telling me I'm beautiful doesn't
Right.
make me feel good.
Right.
Because you're bringing me
it's
down
an
to
ownership
it's an
thing.
ownership thing, and he doesn't see it that way.
He doesn't. He's like, this is just
He
the way
mean-
things are. I grew up. I'm a doctor. I married a beautiful woman. We love each other. We have a
he's like,
family.
and she's like, you
Everything's
don't
right.
think that I wouldn't cheat on you? He's like, no, because I don't think women in general
Which is
would do that. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh,
That's-
really? He's like, well, it's not as black and white as that, but yes, that's
Yeah.
what I believe.
Yeah.
And so if you view that framework, he is a good again, it's just why he's such an interesting character, and why it's fascinating that he got Tom Cruise to play him, because he's not really acting, but it works so well together. And I don't think Tom Cruise even realized that, even though it's a
Sure.
great performance, but it's
Well, see, the thing is that it's interesting. I get it. I get what you're saying, and I hear that, and I had the same feeling about like how it's like, well, the sort of like weird, kind of almost like presentational acting, sort of kind of like in some ways like adds to this sort of like dreamlike thing. It kind of like it's sort of like this thing, but and I can buy that to an extent, but there are there's an extent to which the dialogue being kind of representational as well, almost just like subtext, like is the subtext is the line so often that I just kind of it didn't have that effect on me. I can allow for that possibility, but I'm like, it didn't win me over in that way. It didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like the I consider like it's like, the line is
not doing hot chicks is a thing only doctors at parties worry about. Let's just go to sleep.
right, exactly.
Sorry. What? So
No, yeah, we're so like so we're so yeah, we're having a scene, and I'm Tom Cruise, and you just ask me any question you like.
any question at all?
Any question.
Were you upset that I made fun of your white suit earlier?
Was I upset that you made fun of my white suit? Well, no. Yeah, I was a little. Yeah, it's just like, it's just everything.
So that didn't work for you? I found it annoyed the
After a while,
shit out of
it
me.
did.
In earlier. This is the first time where I feel like it fucking clicked on all levels. Like, because I was like, that's all intentional.
Yeah.
And that repeating thing
know.
is annoying, and he doesn't realize it. He thinks it's charming. I think when he does it in a particularly abrasive way when he goes to revisit the hooker. and her roommate.
That's the thing is, yeah.
And she's
Those
almost
are
like
very interesting scenes.
they're very interesting, and I almost feel like she's into him, but also like this guy. He's still into himself, you know.
Well, and it's Akasha made an interesting point. Is that she? It's interesting because this movie Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise in this movie. How
do I know it's intentional? You mean the repeating of lines? I mean, without question, it's intentional.
I think even if it wasn't scripted that way, it's left in.
He does it. He does it in almost every scene.
Yeah,
like in almost every scene.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very intentional.
What's interesting though is that it's the same thing. Like it becomes annoying because it's an acting tick that a lot of people have.
Yeah,
right?
but
where it's like no. I'm not saying
yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying it triggers that in me.
Sure.
It triggers that, and I think a lot of people.
Oh, it annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, because you go like you'll see that in improv where someone's like something, and that's exactly what it is. They're buying time to think of what they do, and you get that, but.
And it's interesting.
And it's when they're uncomfortable and they don't want to deal with it.
And it's great that you're saying an actor because that's what makes this character
actually
one of his best roles because he's acting he's playing a role in his own life.
Yeah.
That's how disingenuous he truly is. Like he can't be real with people. Sure. And that's kind of the whole point of the movie is breaking him down over the course of this film so he can truly understand where his lot in life is. Because he thinks he's hot to trot, but then he goes to this cult party where he realizes, oh, I'm very rich and I'm a very successful doctor, but I am in no way close to this elitism type thing because I showed up in a taxi and these people can kill me if they wanted to. Yeah. Like it's like with a snap of a finger, like Sidney Pollack during that long pool table scene.
I love Sidney Pollack so much.
He's just like, I don't think you understand how out of your depth you've been over the past 24 hours.
So great,
you can't hang with us.
Yeah, right.
We're these people that were at that party.
I'll send you.
You don't want to know who they are.
But exactly.
Yeah, right.
This is like I'll send you a case of whatever because I can do that.
Yeah,
and we're friends and I like you.
Right.
But dude,
I will shatter your life instantly if you don't back off.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like the whole point of the movie is getting him to realize that he's not top of the food chain and also learning how to be real with his life. He's just having a lot of realizations. Yeah. And that's why the movie's called Eyes Wide Shut because he's like walking around thinking he's got everything and he's got it all figured out and he's very confident. But it's all a complete lie, and by the end of it, he realizes that his marriage is a sham, essentially, because he's not, or at least they're both sleepwalking through their marriage.
Sure.
And he's nowhere near the top tier of what he thought he was, professionally speaking. So in his both professional and personal life, he's mistaken.
So I read that article, or I at least read an article because I saw that. So he's saying there's a conspiracy theory that Eyes Wide Shut was in part Stanley Kubrick teasing or playing with, teasing and playing with Tom Cruise, like screwing with him. Like I think the headline was like, was Eyes Wide Shut just a big, long, and expensive way for Kubrick to screw with Tom Cruise? I read it and it was like bullet point, this way, and I go, no, that is literally, I mean that's not even. That's not even especially weird for a director to do with an actor. It was stuff like, it was like he made him walk through a door 96 times, but like that's Kubrick.
That's just Kubrick.
It's literally Kubrick. It's like he, they have these because Nicole Kidman doesn't. I mean, her character doesn't ever truly cheat on him, have sex with him, but she describes it, and then he has flashbacks. Those flashbacks obviously had to be filmed. Tom Cruise was at the time definitely married to Nicole Kidman in real life. They shot those scenes over 6 days, and Kubrick banned him from set, which seems cruel, but it's like it's for the film.
And then she told him not.
She couldn't tell him anything about it. Like
it's fucked up, but
it's crazy stuff. It's very hardcore stuff, but it's not Kubrick. None of it comes off to me as Kubrick screwing a Tom Cruise. No. It's Kubrick crafting his film and creating realities for film, like stuff for Blue Valentine, like they went and lived with each other for months. I mean, people do these things, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not even a Kubrick film; it's like a lot of films.
I mean, like, you know, David Fincher hired cast Ben Affleck in Gone Girl
Right.
because he was like, I wanted.
It is
he
a
was like,
similar thing.
I wanted someone that the moment they see his face, they want to punch him.
Yeah.
And he was like, and so like, and that's a widely like that's an accepted thing of like how he got that role. And Ben Affleck was like, I don't give it. Like I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in a good movie with a great role.
Yeah. And I think, see, that's an interesting thing. We should have done.
It's just
this.
good casting, is what it is.
It is good casting. It is good casting, and it's interesting when the person's station in real life is kind of a comment
Yes.
from the movie on. I mean, it's very interesting, and there are several movies like that, and I kind of wish we had done this in a series of, because it's Gone Girl, it's Eyes Wide Shut, it's Fight Club.
Yeah.
It's Jesse James. I mean, like,
without question.
Two of them are Brad Pitt. There are movies
Jesse
where
James for sure.
absolutely where the stature and the persona of the person playing him. In Brad Pitt, it's just the case where it's like, you are the hugest movie star on earth.
Right.
In Eyes Wide Shut and Gone Girl, it's kind of like, yeah, you're a gigantic movie star, but you're a movie star that some people feel this way about because of how big a movie star you are. I mean, it's very interesting.
And Kubrick did want a married couple. Like,
Yeah.
he initially wanted Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger before they broke up.
Every single Rocky movie reflects Sylvester Stallone's actual career. That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. Just an interesting, honest-to-self performance may have been what Kubrick was looking for, but not what Cruise intended. But Kubrick didn't let himself adjust to it. Oh yeah, and they're talking about like something when it was like he was like recruit. Like I think some of these things sound strange. This is sorry, not to sound like this. I think some of these things sound strange to people, who haven't been on a film set a lot or done a lot of, because it's one of the things was like Kubrick wouldn't let Tom Cruise see dailies, and I was like, that's not even.
I don't let anybody see
It's not a
shit.
thing. It's not a thing. It's like,
unless I feel like an actor needs to
Sure.
see it some daily so they can just fix something that they're not getting through my own direction.
Yeah.
It's a bad move.
It's not. That's not a Kubrick thing. That's a filmmaking thing that many directors. They're like, we will not. I will not. A million direct. I think probably in directing classes they go, consider not letting your actors see what they just did on film because there is a fear that actors are little neurotic balls of uncontrollable emotion who will crack and fall and die if anyone insults their coat on a video game. I think. Oh boy, what I got that? What happened? No, that an actor will get in far too much into their own head if they see what they just did and go, oh, when I feel like that, it makes it look like that. So I need to adjust it.
Even when it's great.
No, because sometimes you can feel great and it looks weird and look weird, or feel weird and it looks great, and trying to. So it's
too many times I've been very proud of something an actor did and be like, you gotta see this, and then they look at it, and 100% of the time the actor's face goes like this. They're really excited, and then they go,
yeah.
And it's never the reaction I want because they're far too, and like I get it, because you in your head when you do something you think it looks one way, and then I'm never on camera, but sometimes I'll see myself, I'm like, oh my god, that's what I look like when I do that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I would never do that, and then you immediately start to try to counteract that in your performance, even if it's a good thing. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. But there are some actors who I think can take it. There's some actors.
You're not one of them.
I totally. No, but Akasha is like, she's like, I want to see the dailies, because then I think she maybe is.
Yeah, but she's different. Like, I mean, she is like she works on
a different kind of actor.
Like, I always have to work with her completely differently than I do almost most other actors that I deal with.
Yeah,
it works for her, but I always have to be like, okay, I got to switch gears.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go over to her and talk with her, and she just has a completely different approach to it, and it works for her.
Yeah, she's very kind of like,
she's
almost
analytical.
Like clinically analytical about it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's like,
she asks a lot of questions,
totally.
and I'm more than happy. But Akasha made me realize the importance of when an actor asks you something and you don't know what the answer is, to just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I learned that through working with her. Because she's very thorough about it, and she'll ask stuff that I haven't thought about, and they'll be like, I don't know, so let's sit here for 5 seconds, figure it out together,
Yeah.
and then that's what it'll be.
And it's an interesting thing as a director, because in some ways, and that's what I talk about trust a lot, because you have to kind of go, I mean, this is germane to what we're talking about. I mean, to this film, I feel like it's like you because you are goodness as an actor, as you said, you're the person who ends up on screen. Like, until I was in high school, I didn't even think of anyone else as being part of a movie besides an actor. I didn't really know what a director did. I was like, I went to the movies, saw them, and came away only thinking about the performances and being like, if the movie was good, it was because, it's just, I'm just watching people interact in this space, and whether if they interacted well, I was like, it's a good movie. If they didn't, whatever.
Right.
And it was all in the actors, and the actors. Yeah, there's a quote from Tom Cruise that said, like, it's like acting is like painting in the dark or stabbing in the dark or something. Painting makes more sense. I think it was stabbing in the dark, but painting in the dark, because you don't know.
Like, Tom, you don't know how to relate to people.
Well, you're doing, but that's exactly what it is. You're doing something. You're the one on camera. You're either going, you're bringing up an emotion and just trying to let it out, and then trying to have that be the truest everything. Try not to think about how you look, but at the same time, you have to think about where you are. You have to go boom, boom, boom. You go, okay, gosh, get deeper. But also last time I'm supposed to put this down, then look over, because that didn't work. And when I go back here, I'm out of the shot, so I got to whatever. And then this person says something to me, and I go, and last time we did this, but we want. So
I don't know how you guys.
Last time it was a 5, but it needs to be a 7.
Yeah.
And there's whatever, and then and they go like, but, and you go doom, doom, dump, boom, boom. And they go, good. There was a shadow, and you go like, okay, so we got to do it again. Do the same thing, but didn't. It's crazy, and you can't see any of it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think some actors, like people are like, I need to see that. And as a director, you have to go like, it's almost like that's why you have to trust your director, and the director has to trust the actor, because you're going, I need to see that. And the director kind of, if you know each other well enough, you can either go, cool, yeah, or you can be like, I don't think it's a good idea. Trust me. Let's do it again.
But it's why like you have to trust the people you're working with.
And it's the thing is, like, the worst thing in the world for me as an actor is to get, it's a sinking feeling when you go, oh, I feel like this director doesn't know what he wants, or isn't, or is too is just trying to get through the day, or like what, it's just like, oh, and when you feel like you're on your own as an actor,
it's the worst feeling.
That can be a good thing. Sometimes I go, I'm glad this person doesn't, because I don't want this person's input. And I'm here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to try it, and I don't want any input from this person.
But it sucks when you have to start protecting your performance from your own director.
Yeah,
and
that's
like, that
terrifying.
happens, especially in low budget stuff. That happens too often, and it's a terrible, like, because it'll happen. Like, my girlfriend's an actor, and sometimes she'll be like, this is this and this. She'll come home from set, and she's like, this and this is happening, and I'm like, that doesn't sound great, and I don't want to tell you to protect yourself and just do what you got to do to make it good, because you're getting shit direction. Yeah. But like, at some point, you got to do that if you're not working with someone. And that's why trust is like, it's paramount to making something good. Yeah. It just is, because you both have to have a certain amount of talent, and then you both got to. Because if there's a weak link there on either end, it's going to turn to shit. Yeah, and there are definitely times when I get that sense, and I go, and it does. It becomes about going, okay, how do so someone's giving me direction. I disagree with it. This is not a good thing to admit to as an actor, but I disagree with it, and I don't think what you're saying either. And when it doesn't sound like what you think you're saying is not what you're saying. At least from my perspective. Sure. You don't want that. Or I know how it's gonna, and it's not gonna. Or you're saying it, and I just like, okay, that's not gonna help. So how do I? This is awful. How do I take the direction? Go. You don't mean this. You mean that, and you don't want that. You want this part of that, which I can get to if I do this. Or if you mean this, I think. I'm going to try to do, I go, how do I ignore the parts of the direction that are not good,
but still make it sound like I took make it seem like I took what you said and am doing it to a sufficient enough point that it's very
that's why like you have to cast like, because when you're working with a subpar director who is trying to use language to get something that they are not quite sure how to describe, and then they're just confusing everyone by trying to describe it. It's why, you know, I took a big thing from listening to P.T. Anderson in an interview one time, being like, how do you get such stellar performances from everyone in every movie you've ever made? And he's like, I cast people that I trust inherently and that I think are right for the role, and then I get the fuck out of the way. Yeah. And then I'm just there in case they need me. If they have a question, then I'll come up and I'll break down the scene for them, kind of tell them the intent, and then I get out of the way. Yeah. And if they have a question, then I'm there to either provide it, and if I don't know the answer, then work with them to find the answer that we're both happy with. Yeah. But other than that, I let them do their thing because I've hired them to give me their take on this character.
Absolutely.
And that's and I learned that one thing that he said, where it was just get out of the cast correctly, trust your actor, and then get out of the way. It makes directing so much easier because you can't micromanage a performance. You can't do it. Because when you do that thing where it's just like, hey, I need you to hit this beat, but be a 7 right after you drop that thing on the table, and then right after that, I need you to hit your mark over here. Like, that's not, you can't reasonably expect a human being to keep all that in their head. That's just not a good way of directing. I mean, I know you as an actor have to do that.
It can work. I think it can work, but
it's an exhausting way of going through each scene and being like, you got to do this, this, and this. I don't believe in micromanaging a performance. No. I think you got to stay. Right. You just got to let them do what they got to do, and you got to cast it well. But like, Tom Cruise bringing this back around. Tom Cruise got an ulcer on this movie because he was so eager to give Stanley what he wanted. Yeah. But Kubrick, the reason why he does so many takes is because he takes what P.T. Anderson does, but he takes it to an insane degree where he almost provides no direction. Sure. Where he's cast you because he believes you're right for the role, and clearly Tom Cruise was perfect for this role. But then he just sits back, and because he's done his job where he works with very small crew, so he can keep his budget down, so he can get more days on set to film, he just wants to see, because he cast it with the actor that he wants, now he wants to see what that actor is going to do in the environment. Yeah. And he doesn't want to rush it, and he just wants to see what's going to happen. Right. And Fincher's the same way, where he's just like, sometimes I want to exhaust them by doing a bunch of takes so they get everything that they had brought to the set that day, and they had planned in their brain, so they can get all that shit out. Mm-hmm. And then once they have nothing left in the tank and they get freaked out, that's when they start getting really honest, frankly, with their performances. And like Fincher and Kubrick do almost the exact same thing. Yeah. And that's why he does a lot of takes. Yeah.
And it's interesting because on one level, yes, like because you could look at it.
I could see why that would be, like, Gyllenhaal hated that on Zodiac. He was like, it was the worst time ever for me because I felt like I was failing every day.
Of course. Yeah. Oh yeah, there is an anxiety that can set in, where if someone's like, okay, we're gonna do another one. Okay, cool. And if you start getting up in the takes, sometimes, depending on how it feels on set, depending on how well you know the director, depending on whatever, because generally speaking, or ideally speaking, as an actor, if I'm in a place where I'm comfortable and I trust the director and I love the project and I'm into it and I want as many takes as anyone's gonna give me. Yeah. Like I'll do 100 takes, please, please. Because you can just keep making breakthroughs and keep getting more honest, and maybe you hit a point where like at a certain, there's a diminishing return after a while. Sure. But yeah, I'm like, dude, let's explore it. But also, I bet if you keep going through those diminishing returns, I bet at some point you get on another upswing. I'm like, do it, because like, oh my gosh, because after it, and it's like that. It's like that image from 2001 where you just keep breaking through, and it gets good, and then it's more honest, and then it seems more honest, and then there's more, and it's like whatever, and then you go like, that's weird, but that's more like real life than anything. Yeah. And it's so interesting.
And I understand it, like, because sometimes like they particularly on Eyes Wide Shut, they were like, they're like, he did 97 takes of him just walking through a door. And that seems ridiculous, but sometimes you get on a set and for whatever reason, a simple task of walking across a set, it's just like you had like as a director, you have something in your mind and you need it to, but you can't explain it to the actor because you're just like, I can't micromanage this. They're just going to have to do it at some point, and to just keep telling him to be like, that's not quite it. Yeah. I don't want to say faster or slower. I just need it to be a little bit different.
Try something different.
Just try something different. And that's honestly sometimes the best direction you can give them.
Sometimes it is.
Because that way you're not telling...
Give me something different. That was good. Give me another one. Try something else. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've done 20 takes. Like, I've done that before. You're like, I've done 20 takes of this?
Yeah.
This doesn't mean shit, but... if you know how that shot's going to segue into the next thing, and you're looking for a specific beat to work into the next setup that you're about to do, then it does become important.
Absolutely. And there are also, on the other hand, there are times as an actor, and I feel like if you talk to enough actors who've done it enough that sorry, I don't mean, anyway.
King Cold-Blood, do the takes where you feel like you got it often end up as the ones that get selected?
Well, that's an interesting...
That's a very interesting question.
I wonder if that changes for you, because there are times when, as an actor, you go, oh, I nailed it. Mm-hmm. You go, oh, that was as honest. That was just real. That was real. And you look at it and you go, that isn't convincing at all.
I find that
looks
I
like
think
acting.
that happens with actors a lot.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because, and it's that thing. It's painting in the dark. You bring the thing up, and you let it out. And the greatest feeling in the world is to get to the end of a take, and someone go, "How did that feel?" I go, "I have no idea. I don't know. It just happened." Mm-hmm. I go, I have no idea. I just was doing it, and not because you can daze out, I guess, and do it, but sometimes that's good too. But if I do a scene and I go, I have no idea what that looks like because I just wasn't thinking about it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And but sometimes you have that and you go, oh man, 2 takes ago was that one where it was like that, and you watch it and you go, what? And it's interesting having directed myself, whatever, or and then going back and looking at takes. It's interesting looking at performance and going that one, in going through the first time and going that take, and this one's second best, third best, whatever. And then if there's enough time between the time you edit it, which for me there has been, because my gosh, I need to edit those things and finish them. You come back and you go, and it's been a while, and they go, I don't believe that one anymore. I believe this one.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's why it's
and it's and
that's kind of what happens to me.
Yeah, and that's why people.
I'll go with the take that I think is the one that I agreed with on. It's always because usually I'm like, cool, we got it, we're moving on. So I always go to the last 3 takes. You'd be like, one of these has got to be the winner. Yeah, and then you put together your thing. Your entire edit, and then you watch it through, and then usually I do like to step away, and then you come back, and then oftentimes you're like, okay, this is all on a base level. This is a great intent of what I'm after. Mm-hmm. Now let's really get into the nuance of each performance, and that's when you start. You'd be like, oh, well, if I do this, then that affects this thing over here, and because of this little tick that they did in this scene, and that's when you can have fun, and it can be takes that you didn't think, and a lot of times. And I feel terrible about it. I've had performances where I'm like, you're not getting it, and we'll do 15, 16 takes. And then I go back and I'm like, the one I thought we got it on at the very end, take 16, I'm like, this is good, and I can see why I wanted this. And then I go back and I really watch what the actor is doing in take 1. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's why they were shady with me for the rest of the day. Pretty cold, because they thought I was an idiot. Because I didn't see on set until I got on a big fucking monitor where I could see the nuance. I mean, I'm talking subtle shit, where I could see what they're doing almost beneath the surface of their performance. And then you're like, oh, that's why I hired them, because I should have just But I also defend that because it's like, well, I got to get what I need, what I think I need in that moment, because I'm not going to be there again.
And the thing is that it's exactly. I mean, it's like the coolest shot thing. It changes in context. If you you put this scene, you put this performance that is like as a 30-second clip on itself is bananas good.
Yeah,
it just knocks you on your ass. You put it next to the thing that's next to it, and you go, oh, well, the intensity of this and the intensity of this, just this diminishes that or this diminishes that.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, I need something else. And you go, oh, I really hope I got that. And you
Yeah.
go back and it's like, yeah. And I've done the same thing as a director of other actors. I was like, no. And then I go back and like do the same thing. And I go, yeah. It's the first or second one. Why?
Right.
And I hear myself go, okay, let's give it a shot or whatever. I go, good.
Oh, you like hear yourself off camera?
take
Oh,
it.
it's the worst.
And you go,
It's the worst.
and like you're not like that's you, but you go, cool. Can you let's try it, and then you go, shut up, you idiot.
Yeah.
That was great.
I've watched takes where I hear myself off camera,
Alec,
and then the actor's still like, we're still rolling, and I see the actor's face as they're listening to me off camera, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but let's try it. And they're like,
Really?
oh yeah,
That's funny.
always respectful, but like he's not seeing what I'm doing here,
Sure.
that type thing.
Well, and so that's another thing. And hold on, let's hold on. I mean, for either of us, really, the takes where you feel, yeah. And so I guess we are kind of talking about that. You remember each take individually? If you do that many, I mean, like it depends. Like
I mark the ones that I love.
Yeah, you have to go. Yeah, and
on set.
And for me, because it depends how long ago the shoot was, right? Like, certainly, like if it's a couple of months, like I don't remember anything, but in that same day after having done those, I'll remember that like 2 takes ago I felt like it was good. This was slightly different, and you do kind of like you kind of have it in your head.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes that's wrong. And the thing is that sometimes, and editing again has so much to do with it. There are times, some of the best acting I've said it a million times, some of the best acting I've ever done in my life, or I look at it and I go, oh, yeah, is a result of editing. And some of the worst acting I've ever done in my life, I want to say a lot of the worst acting, but not necessarily. But some of the worst acting I've ever done in my life is a result of editing. I mean, and it's just. I mean, that's why you have to trust.
That's why you have to trust the people
and that's
behind
the thing.
it.
That's the thing is that like when you talk about someone like P.T. Anderson saying something like you just cast the right people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's the dream. That's the ideal. I mean if you're like at the point like at a certain point if you're looking at a certain pool of talent, you know what I mean? Like there are movies where you go, oh, like yeah, I'm looking at Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, like if you're looking at or Tommy, you're going to get different flavors. But these guys are such pros; they're so amazing. Even if you don't whatever, you're just going to go, okay, it's going to work.
Oh, without question.
But then it comes down to like, is it something where casting this person says something different about the character, or just the way this person is. I mean, like that's what it is. Like, so you were saying something earlier here. Not a ton to talk about with the actual movie. Oh, we'll get back to it, but this is kind of a part of it.
Because it really does. Well, go ahead.
What are you saying? I said I haven't had to see a bad director. I'm not directly affected, but it was uplifting to sit on the sidelines, see the main stars just get exactly what they need. You're talking about when you've done background work, is that right? And nobody is mad, occasionally very confused, but the confusion resolves and everyone feels satisfied. The thing is, like on a set like that, there are so many people managing the efficiency of it. You know what I mean? You've got the assistant directors, like the unsung hero. I mean, like that person is communicating with everyone, etc. They're on a set that big, everyone is professional. And yeah, very rarely you're going to see meltdowns of the type that sometimes circulate, and the reason
that's why they make news
so rare
because they are rare.
Because everyone's just like, no, we've all done this a million times, and the goal is an actor. The thing is, the goal is an actor because like you get on set, man, and gosh, I mean, you, like honestly, as an actor, you get on and you see all the crew people, and just like, man, everyone here is so much cooler than I am. Like the crew is because everyone is doing these. Like they just like my job is this, and I do it well, and that is it. And who cares about anything else? That's like you see crew, and they're just like, I just do these physical things, and I just like, gaffers are so cool, sound people are so cool, they're so awesome, because they are what they do in that instance. Everyone is firing on the highest cylinders. I mean, on a good set, right? And it is impressive to see. It's a well-oiled machine where everyone, gosh, it's what I love about filmmaking. It's one of the things I love the most about filmmaking is you get a team of talented people together, and everyone is focused on exactly the same thing. Like we're all just kind of like, what do you need? It's like egos ideally go away, because it's like we're all just trying to make one movie, and the director's job ideally at the highest levels is you hire all the right people, and you hire people you trust to do every job, and then ideally your job is to say yes and no. Like people bring you this and go, this, yeah, and you go, yes. Your job is to know what you want. Your job is to have your vision and to say, and to be ready constantly from 1,000 different directions to say,
and even when you
this
don't,
goes with the vision, that does.
And even when you don't, you have to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Like like wobbling or being indecisive on a set. Yeah. But this does play into what we're talking about with Kubrick, because Kubrick is kind of the polar opposite of that, because he got himself into a position where he was so revered, and people anyone would die to work on his set, that he was allowed 400 days to shoot a pretty intimate relationship drama.
Yeah, you read it. Yeah, you read it.
And it's because he doesn't want to make decisions, and all he wants is more. Like I get it, because he wants time. Yeah. The reason he works with a small crew, and he started to do he chose a smaller film to do, is because he wanted time to just explore the possibilities. Yeah. Because when you do all this stuff and you find funding, and then you get all this team together, and you do all the costumes, and you find all the locations, and you build all the sets, and you do all this stuff for like 6 months, and then you get there, you sometimes feel a pressure to all of a sudden like rush through your day.
Absolutely.
When you spent 6 months getting to that one moment, and like all you should do in that moment is slow down to almost a complete halt. Yeah. And then give your actors who have, when you're finally on set, the most difficult job, because it's not just one task of making the best sound, or making this look the best, or building this light the fastest and in the most efficient way, or just saying yes or no as a director to a bunch of things that people are bringing. You have to go within yourself and deliver something that you even don't know before that take happens what it's going to be. Right. At least in if you're doing good acting. Sure. Because it should feel like all you're trying to do is like, it's this very well-oiled but pre-planned thing, planned out to a T ideally. Absolutely. And like overscheduled, and overplanned and blah, blah, blah. And then you're doing all that so you can ideally give your actor time to just play and figure shit out on camera, so there can be a spontaneity to it, and so it can feel alive. Or else you're gonna get that thing where it feels very wooden, and the performances feel phoned in, and it just feels kind of lackluster. And that's why you can, like, with specific directors, you're like, wow, how do they always get good performances? And so because they take the time to give actors just the time. Sure. Because you see those same actors in other movies with other directors, and you're like, oh, their performance wasn't nearly as good as when they were working with this director. Yeah. And it literally is because those specific directors respect the actor enough to give them the time to do their job. Yeah. And I feel like it gets undercut too often on a lot of sets, where they're like, we got to go because we got to make time. I'm like, we spent all this time getting here. It's weird. Yeah. And the thing is, like, the thing is, because you're right. I mean, the thing is, like, as an actor, you get there and you go like, oh, all I do is feel stuff. All I do is my job is to feel things. Yes. And then be recorded feeling them, and then but then feel things that I'm not actually feeling. Yes. And feel them in a way that is honest, somehow captured, and you are actually feeling that thing that you're not feeling. Yeah.
and sometimes it's easier than others.
And it's ridiculous for any crew. Like if
Later,
crew
Alan.
is ever
Thank you
like
so much, yeah.
later, like if crew or anybody would ever come up to me and be like, "Hey, we got to go,"
Yeah.
and it's just like, what are you talking? Like
Yeah.
it devalues the whole point of this,
Because
at least in what I'm interested in, which
Yeah.
is getting real. Like that's the whole point is like actors on screen doing their job well is what makes movies for me.
Absolutely, and that's yeah. Going back to what it was that I believed movies were for so long as a child. That's it. It's like for most movies, for the vast majority of movies, yeah, the actor's job is to go on and feel things they don't feel in a way. And try to make yourself feel something that you don't feel in a way that looks like you're really feeling it, or really feel that thing that you're not actually don't have the stimulus to feel. And the reason, and it's such a weird thing. It's like you go out in the middle of this industrial thing, and then you go, and I'm a flower, and I'm gonna grow.
Right.
And it feels silly sometimes. You've
Sure.
got dudes like dudes, anyone like just people doing really like awesome industrial crazy stuff, and then the director is like, yeah, I've got it here, and I'm overseeing the whole thing, and you go, I'm just supposed to go out in the middle of that thing that people have been working on for 2 hours and feel a couple for a while, and then stop, and then go, and then feel another thing. And sometimes it's like, this is okay, now remember what you were feeling 2 days ago, this is right before that. And so feel like you would feel if you were feeling leading up to that, but it's like that was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So try to remember where you were and try to make it, whatever.
The through line, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason it is so important is that, like, it's amazing to me, like when a gaffer can be like, I'll adjust this electric light, and make it look like sunlight. And I'll put it here, and it'll look like and the whole thing. Movies are just the movies. Movies are things that are artifices. They're charades that are planned out meticulously, and then and you plan it out, and then the goal, the task becomes erasing any evidence that it's planned out, and just making it look like it just happened.
You're creating like this completely artificial environment to ideally get something to create a real moment of truth out of it. It's a weird, the dichotomy of that is utterly bizarre and can be very confusing to everyone on set at certain moments. And like, I understand like that pressure that actors feel, because it can be intimidating to go onto a set where a lot of shit's just going on, and then your job is to literally just emote.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon, when he was on the set of The Departed, he was like, yeah, you can feel a lot of pressure when, he was like, I just did a scene where I was sitting on a park bench, and you have literally, on a Martin Scorsese movie, it's like 200 people all doing these amazing things in very efficient, like they are top of the line, doing their job at an A level. And then they all do their thing, and everybody gets into position. Everybody's doing their thing at like such an incredible rate. And then you go sit on this bench, and the director yells action, and all of a sudden you feel like almost like this pressure to give the camera something,
right?
Because because to do nothing would be like, well, why did we do all this stuff? So he could just sit there on the bench. And Matt Damon's like, and that's where the real talent comes in, because that's precisely what you're supposed to do if that's what's called for in the scene, is to just sit there and do nothing.
Well, and the goal, the job is to feel it, and then have it read.
Right.
Have it read.
Yeah.
And the temptation constantly is to be like, it's not what, if I feel that it's not enough, I have to communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where it starts getting tricky, because you go, no, don't.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you got to work with a director you trust, because it's just like his job, one of his key jobs in that moment is when he can see it happening and be like, hey, I know you think, but no, just just sit there and sit in it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that thing you're doing with your eyes
Yeah.
or with your lips or whatever. Just sit in it because what you're doing is already enough.
And the job is to be a lot of I mean, one of the most helpful things a director can say in some cases is just bullshit. You know?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. And so you're just like, oh, and then you have to sit with that and deal with that. But it's like, but yeah, because the whole thing is to feel what you feel like you do in real life. And when you feel it in real life, most of the time you're not thinking about how you look like when you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And that is the problem, because as an actor, there is a tremendous temptation or pressure to think about how you're coming off.
Yeah.
Because this is all to make it look real, and it's I
And
don't
just
know.
imagine being on a set of like Kubrick's,
Oh my
where
goodness.
you're working with one of the most legendary directors of all time. He's giving you you're on take 78, and he refuses to give you direction.
Yeah.
Because apparently what would happen is Tom would like the 97 take one is when Tom Cruise Sidney Pollack is in his parlor.
Yeah.
And it's actually more complicated because it's a one take. So Tom Cruise walks through the door, but then they have a full scene. Yeah. And it's all in one take, and the camera's on a steady camera revolving
so
around.
Much technically that can go. Yeah. Sure.
And there's all a bunch of emotions going on, and it's a long scene. Yeah. But Sidney Pollack, who is a Oscar-winning director in his own right, who just Kubrick wanted him to be an actor for this one.
I love him as an actor, and I love him as a director. He's so amazing.
He came on, and he was so gung-ho because he wanted to work with Stanley, and he was like, okay, he got there on day one, and he was like, okay, Stanley, what do you want me to do? He's like, I can come over to the door real quick, or I can do it real slow, and Stanley just very quietly would be like, he was like, well, whatever you think you want to do, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, okay. And he was like, and so we did like 5 takes, and I was like, okay, I gave you a bunch of options.
Yeah.
You know, do you like any of those? And he was like, it's good. It's very good. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And then, they get to take 60, and he's like, Stanley, like, what are you wanting? Like, what are you looking for? He's like, oh, well, we'll find it.
Yeah,
we'll find it when we find it. It'll be great. And he's always just very positive. It's never like, there's this idea that Kubrick was this maniacal dictator director, because there's always that famous image of him like looking over a camera on Barry Lyndon, and he's got this crazed look in his eyes. But he was a very soft-spoken dude, and he was just like, well, we'll just keep going, because we're here, and so now's the time to like you don't know what to do, okay, use that, and then let's go again. Absolutely. And I think that is. I couldn't do that. Yeah. Because that's just not how my brain works. Right. But for him, I think it's an odd, just knowing that story and how he actually is on set, and that he's actually very soft-spoken, just curious about what an actor can do. And he just wants to see more, and he wants to see every available option until he thinks he's got enough there to go into the edit room and play. Yeah. I think that's a really beautiful thing. And it made me look at his obsessive take after take mentality in a completely different light.
But it is interesting too, because at the same time there are stories where Nicole Kidman was like he had very specific blocking in some cases laid out for them, and they wanted her to take 3 steps and because of the picture of the tableau. Yeah. And it's like no, we need to do it again because this, and you get these incredible images. Oh, yeah. It's great. Like why? I mean, it's just.
And he could be a dictator, because like on The Shining, he was pretty cruel to Shelley Duvall. Yeah. To the point where she was like having a nervous breakdown type, like her hair was falling out and stuff, and I think it was both him doing that to inform the performance, but I also think that I think he wasn't too happy with what she was doing. I think there was a bit of that at play too.
Yeah,
and I think he got frustrated with her.
That's interesting, and I think, I don't know. I mean, because there are panic attacks and all. Sure. Did she? I don't know.
She did. Oh, like she spoke fondly of it after the fact, but there's footage that Stanley Kubrick's daughter filmed that you can find on the Blu-ray.
You're right.
And it's fascinating because it's not like it's a documentary in the sense that it's just long takes of her walking around the set of The Shining, uncut, and seeing how that process works. And he could be mean about it on that set. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I mean, it's weird when you're faced as a director with something that's not working, and that thing that's not working is a person, and the person, you need the person to be in the mindset to just do what they're doing, really, but they're freaked out or they're whatever. I mean, the ideal as an actor, right, is to be truthful, but to be able to be as just unerringly, spontaneously in the moment truthful with the same efficiency that a gaffer can turn off and turn on a
Absolutely.
light. I mean, that is it.
And that is one of the talents.
And that's it. And it's like you go, that's where you get the highest level of actors, and you go, oh, what they come in with is already fine. Like they're gonna come in and boom, and their lowest, their worst take is 100% usable. You know what I mean? And it's just
Elia
like,
Kazan, when he was talking about, he was like, what you worked with James Dean and Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando on The Waterfront, James Dean in East of Eden. He's like, what's the difference? He was like working with such incredible talents, and he was like, honestly, here's the difference between a great actor and like a legendary actor. He's like, a legendary actor can deliver something astonishing to you repeatedly.
Right.
And a great actor can do it once.
Yep.
James Dean is a really great actor. Marlon Brando is a legend. Like, I mean, because he could do it over and over. And James Dean could do it, and he could do it brilliantly, but he could only do it once.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because it's like, because then that is it, where people, you'll maybe, you'll hear actors talk about themselves as an instrument, or their voice as an instrument, and like that is ideally what it is, that the actor can be moved and counted on as reliably as a light or a microphone or a plant that needs to be moved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it. But the difference is that
It's why I understand why directors work with the same actors over and over. It's because once I get that completely, because once you know that you've got that person in that role, you're like, cool, check it off.
Yeah.
Like, mark it off the list, because we don't have to worry about that anymore. That's done.
Yeah. And the only difference, is that an actor, as a moving part of this moving painting, right, as just a paint in this, or a cog in this thing, is the only difference is that they're the entry point for the audience.
Right.
They are they're the humanity, and that's why it has to be truthful.
Getting back to the movie.
Yeah, because we need to.
Anyway.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to talk about the visual. They use. It's a Christmas movie, okay?
Right.
Or is it a Christmas movie? That's something we should discuss.
It certainly takes place. So yeah, it takes place at Christmas.
It takes place at Christmas. Christmas lights are seen throughout the entire movie, and they use them. And Kubrick was very insistent with his DP that he wasn't allowed to use film lights. He had to light everything practically, which means he had to use lights that were within the frame of the set that you would see on camera. He was like, that's how you have to light this movie, which I love. I'm a massive fan of practical lighting.
Motivated lighting.
Yeah.
There's also a great diegetic and non-diegetic music moment at the beginning.
At the very beginning, yeah, I thought that was great.
It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, gosh, if I ever need to demonstrate it again, that's where you.
Yeah.
Because the credits come out and it goes eyes wide shut. Dun 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 dun. Nick and Nicole Kidman. Dun 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 dun. She's kicking off her shoes, but they're getting around. Honey, something. They're walking around having the conversation. Then this great sweeping classical music. Blah 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 blah. And then right toward the end of the scene, Tom Cruise walks over to the radio and turns it off.
Yeah.
And then that music, which we assumed was non-diegetic, as in not produced by what we're seeing. Score, essentially. Well, not necessarily score, but like, external to the story, as opposed to created, basically music that the characters hear.
Yeah.
Right? So non-diegetic characters don't hear it, but we do.
It's motivated music.
Yeah, exactly. And so he goes over, clicks off and we go, oh, it wasn't non-diegetic. They heard it as well. It was diegetic. Anyway, go. Sorry.
But with the lighting in particular, they used.
It's interesting, Ken.
All of the Christmas lighting is seen throughout every scene of the film except for 3 scenes.
Right.
And it's the orgy scene, and both scenes involving Sidney Pollack in the parlor room, and then with the OD hooker towards the beginning of the film.
Those are scenes in which they what? Sorry.
Where there are no Christmas lights.
Ah.
And so it's interesting because there's a line of dialogue by one of the 2 women that Tom Cruise is flirting with at the Christmas party, where he's like, "Ladies, where are we going?" And one of the women says, "We're going where the rainbow ends."
Don't you want to see where the rainbow?
Don't you want to see where the rainbow ends?
And he goes, "Oh, don't I want to see
where the rainbow ends?"
Well.
And then he does the Top Gun double slap.
You never close your eyes wide shut.
But it's interesting because they're using all this Christmas lighting that is especially when you look at just screenshots all paired together, it is the entire movie has a rainbow look to it because it's multicolored lighting, because it's not white lights exclusively, although that's where the Christmas party is. Everything else, it has this multicolored lighting, which looks like a rainbow. And the only times it's not used is in the orgy scene, and then any time with Sidney Pollack's character, who is part of the ultra elite, and he's also at the orgy later on. And so I thought that was, what a wonderfully subtle visual cue, because the rainbow ends at the orgy.
Right.
And I just thought that was really cool.
And it's interesting. And when he goes into the costume shop, which is called Rainbow Fashions, there's a big rainbow on the sign, and it's where the rainbow, because it's the beginning of this adventure that he's going on. He's committing to he's going to get the costume, which is the first step toward going to this masked orgy, and into this world of sex and kind of giving into this almost, I mean, it's not even like he was tempted by it before. It's just sort of like it's almost like a revenge thing. I mean, against this thing that his wife made him feel. And he's like, well, I'm going to whatever. But he goes, and the door is literally at the end of the neon rainbow.
Yeah.
Like it's like right at the end of the rainbow is the door that he enters to, and
it's all these little things getting him to,
Sure. And there's then there's this, like, what is it, like rainbow is like an Illuminati thing, or it's a Freemason.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, supposedly that's a thing. Like there's
a lot of Freemason imagery going on in this movie.
Yeah, or I don't know if it's and that specifically is some sort of clandestine elitist. I don't know. I read too much, but again, not enough. Where it was like talking about stuff like MK Ultra, and I was like,
I read that stuff
what's
too.
going on? I don't know.
It's interesting. It's just I don't really think that's.
I mean, it could,
I think that's there, but I don't think that's the main point.
It's
of
not.
The film.
I think possibly if that. Some of the
people
things
think it's an Illuminati film. I disagree with that.
And
wholeheartedly.
I think very possibly it's. I think it very possibly is alluding to.
I think it's alluding to that, yes.
But I think the reason it's alluding to that is that in coming up with this secret society and filling it out in the sense like sort of fleshing it out for its incorporation in a film, and to try to be like, how would this practically, like, who would these people be? You just came to that, and like that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's this whole. So I think it makes sense to do it. I don't know necessarily that the intent is to. I don't know. I mean, like, if it is, if you did research and tried to kind of make it whatever, like, it's not necessarily not trying to be like, hey, there's this thing that may be happening there, that happening here, that people think. But again, I don't think either that it's the point of the film. The point of the film is a psychosexual.
I mean, do you think that the whole parlor scene with Sidney Pollack, where he basically wraps up the whole movie with a nice, neat bow?
Yeah.
Where he explains everything that happened, what happened to the dead hooker, and makes
the claim that that it's all staged to scare him, which is interesting.
That's an interesting thing.
nice
He
little,
said
like-
he essentially it's like
Hey, pick.
it's like the Psycho scene at the end of Psycho where where they just wrap it up real. He's like, well, he had a split personality disorder.
Right,
He was
right,
obsessed
right.
with him. That's what he was wearing, and blah blah blah.
But I love it.
And I love it too. But it's also, it's one of two things. Do you think he's completely telling the truth,
Right.
or do you think he's lying about everything? Because
Which is
I
great.
think an interesting viewpoint is that I think Tom Cruise wants him to be lying to justify his behavior and everything that happened throughout the entire. I think he wants it to be more than what it is. I think it's more interesting to view it that that Sidney Pollack is actually telling the truth, and that it's not a big deal, and it was just an orgy, and it was a bunch of rich people who were bored with their lives. So we do shit that no one else can do, which is have these crazy opulent stranger orgies. And we don't want anybody to know because these are super powerful people.
It's how we blow off steam. We have all these pressures. We
Yeah.
run the world, so we get the perks of that too.
Yeah. And but
Sure.
but it's also, but I really think that it's as simple as that. And he's trying to make it seem like he's like, but you guys killed someone, and he's like, no.
I mean, I think
it's not that. I think it was coincidence, but Kubrick switched the coincidence to. He was like, it is a coincidence, but it's not a flimsy narrative device here. It's like, no, sometimes shit just like that happens.
Yeah.
And he wants it to be something else. So this night of debauchery can have like some sort of explanation and provide me, because he just it fits with his personality that he would put more importance on it.
Went on too long. Oh, Blackwood, I'm riveted by that scene. That's interesting.
Which scene?
You're talking about the scene with Pollock in the pool room, in the billiard room.
Because
Because I love that scene.
I love that scene.
I just love. I mean, I love Sidney Pollack. Made tremendous films.
Truly.
Like Tootsie and
Babe, I
Out
went
of
to an
Africa.
orgy, but I didn't inhale.
Yeah. But I love anytime Sidney Pollack is an actor. I love.
What
him.
else has he acted in?
Death Becomes Her. He's wonderful in Death Becomes Her.
He is great. He's a great actor.
He's great. He's in Tootsie. He's great in Tootsie. He's great in Tootsie. He's such a great comedic actor. He's such a warm. He's in. Gosh, there's at least one other big thing. He was an actor first, and he said he has this story where he was like, I can't remember it exactly, but he was in something, and either that director or another actor, somebody came to him. It might have been another actor that he respected or something. It was like, hey, I've been watching you work, and I think you should be a director. And he was like tremendously insulted. Like he was like, I'm an actor. Screw you. What do you mean I should be a director? And then he, like, I guess at some point thought about it and took it to heart, and he was like, I owe that guy a lot. And I'm just like, we do too, because Sidney Pollack's fantastic. We're going to do Tootsie one day. It's beautiful. I love it. I love that movie.
The dude with the incense thing scene went on way too long for...
Oh, see, well, and so...
I just love...
it's great. That's when that movie goes, whoa.
Yeah.
Which is like
it's
backward,
so great.
which I learned today. Yeah, it was backward Orthodox chanting in Romanian.
Yeah.
Which I never really thought about, but I was like, yeah, it's horrifying. I mean, like I was watching it today.
That's why I like the idea that it didn't really mean much at all. When it was all, I think it's more interesting that they do all this opulent shit
because it's
just like they're
fun,
like,
it's
but it's a self-important like, look how isn't this amazing? And doesn't this mean a lot? And they're like, no, you guys want to fuck each other. That's it.
Yeah, and it's exactly. You're just like, well, you guys could just get hookers.
Yeah. But he's like, but you have to have this big ritual to make it seem like it's more than what it is.
Yeah.
And so you can justify it in your brains. And it kind of falls into the ending when she's like, well, what do we do now? It's like, we just fuck.
Yeah.
Because this is life.
Yeah.
And it's going to have ups and downs. And like, we're primal human beings. And like, all we can really do throughout life is try our best, do a lot of shit, and fuck and shit and eat. And like, it's just, it's really, I think it's way more interesting to do it on a basic primal level.
Absolutely.
And get rid of all the Illuminati shit, which is there.
Sure.
But I think it's there as an intentional that Kubrick put there as a distraction to kind of make you think about it after the fact. It's like you want it to be this Illuminati thing.
But
it's not that. It's way more simple.
Yeah, and that's like that. Even the Illuminati are these people who are just bored and want to.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, and it's like it's interesting.
Yeah, it's like meeting your heroes and being like, There's a great Seinfeld episode where where the not Pendant Publishing I'll come back to it. I can't think of it.
I got all that in the court of the scene. Yeah, well, to me, and that's why I can't ever. Something about what I wanted while watching it to be watching it for the first time. There's something about watching it for the first time because it is hypnotic to me.
Oh, it is.
And,
Yeah.
and as a kid, I mean, I was like, as a senior in high school, I was like, whoa, this is crazy, and I don't know what's going on. Really didn't crack me up right when she said it. I was thinking, man, they were obsessing about sex and they don't have any at all. That's another thing is that, like, it's things like that to me feel like a play, but not in the greatest way, or like a little dated, where just the way she's just like, we need to do, what we need to do. And she goes, fuck. And it's like that thing where like, in the late 90s, that started to, like, it was just like, oh, isn't it crazy that they're saying it? Instead of just like, we need to fuck, it's like, she's going, we need to fuck. And
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
it's the
you're a
last
character.
line. It's fuck.
Yes, but she does it earlier too, where she's like, I was fucking them and and it's just like, yeah, it's not shocking. It seems to come off as like,
I was very
like,
shocked.
I know.
I was offended.
It's a delicate flower. But yeah, so enunciated. Right. And it's just things like that where it just felt like something. I understand why I was so impressed by it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wish.
Now as a brilliant adult, like you're just
yeah. There were things that are still fantastic. I do love the movie.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
There are just things where I go, I wish that was played with a little more. I wish played it. And some of it I think it was a different time. It was a different time and movies were different.
Yeah.
And there are movies like, and there are movies that I like
her performance in this, I think it's both brilliant and then like there are moments like in both her pivotal scenes where I'm like that's a choice.
Yeah, it's messy.
And I know you gave him a lot of options and he just for whatever reason liked that one
I know.
in particular, and that's
I mean, she does things. That's the thing is like they do things in this movie. And that's another thing too where it's like that's always the thing where it's like you're watching them go through these extreme emotions. And sometimes when you go, I don't buy that, it's because something looks messy or weird. But in real life, as you're watching people go through extreme emotions, sometimes you see things that are like, I had this conversation with Natasha.
That's very true.
Heightened emotion, sometimes if you don't question it because you're in front of the person and it's real and it's happening right now. But if it was a performance, if you recorded
There's intent put on it all of a sudden.
if you recorded it and viewed it as a performance, you'd be like, well, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Or you'd be like, you record yourself doing something and you go, well, that wouldn't work in a movie. Because in a movie, we believe we've gotten away from like the 50s and stuff where it's all like stilted and whatever. And we go, now it's totally realistic acting. And it's like, no, it's not. It's still heightened reality.
Yeah.
It's still neat reality.
Yeah.
Like there's a moment where she just goes, she's like
Yeah.
like that.
I know
And you
exactly
go,
what you're
and you
talking
go, and you're with it, and you go, whoa, and you're like, what? And then it cuts to him, and he's like, now you're laughing at me, you're laughing. He's just like, you think it's funny, and it's a very Tom Cruise-y thing, and you go, yeah, but then you go, it doesn't seem like acting, but then you go, but that's how Tom Cruise would do it in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she would do.
I think this is the first time where I was like, oh, this is one of his best performances that he's ever given. Yeah. And like I can understand why people find certain things annoying, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I
agree. Black White. I don't know anything about this, but like when she was doing it, I was like, she's not high. She's on Ambien. I don't even know what Ambien does.
I think this is part and part. Her everything that goes on with her whole performance. I'm like, she is not satisfied in this relationship because I think she has a genuine like drug problem or there's something more going on there because she's so dissatisfied with her failed career and then being resorted to a trophy wife who is just supposed to take care of the kid. And I think that I really do think there's more to it than that.
Kind of a breakdown, sure. Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely is.
She's also given some of the most
having his
difficult
version of it.
material in the
Totally.
film, because when she wakes up from laughing in her sleep and then she tells him
that's so
this,
strange.
this entire dream.
Yeah.
I'm like, the entire time I'm watching it, even this last go round, I'm like, why are you telling him this?
know.
Like, and I'm like, is she still, what kind of pot were you smoking? Because they showed her, she got really high and she said what she said about the sailor.
Yeah.
He leaves. They show her again eating cookies and watching TV and smoking a cigarette, like having the munchies. Then she goes to bed, and then when he gets home later that night, is she still in like some fevered-induced weed drink? Like, I mean, I've smoked
No,
pot.
I think
That's not how pot works.
No,
you know?
I think it's just on her mind. I think that she.
What do you think the
they
intent
had that
of that
interaction?
What do you think her motivation in that scene was?
in telling him that?
Because even now, I'm like,
I think she
you,
feels.
you just are you still just wanting to hurt him?
I think she feels guilty about it. I think she feels guilty about it because she tries not to tell him. And I've been in.
Does
places,
she?
Mm-hmm. She's like, I can't. It's too terrible.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
And he's like, but you're gonna tell me, aren't you? Or no, he's like, but there's more, isn't it? And I've been in that situation where you feel and I've learned that through relationship that it's not. You can feel terrible about something and feel terrible guilt about something that you thought or done, and you go like, and I'm keeping this from the person that I keep nothing from, or that I try as hard as I can to keep nothing from, and I just don't want to. And I look at her, and it changes our interaction because I have this feeling like I'm keeping something, and it puts a wall between us. And I go, well, the only way to get rid of that wall is to tell her these terrible things that I've thought or felt, and I feel terrible about it. And I feel terrible about telling because it's gonna make her feel bad, or it's not gonna be pleasant to listen to. But it's what I need to do to get us back closer together. For me,
But what's interesting is that it's that thinking, but it's also like, well, that's very selfish of you.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because at a certain point it goes, hey man, like, yeah, I get that you're feeling guilty, but you don't get to put all that shit on that
Yeah.
other person.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes it's like, but if it doesn't have anything to do with that other person.
I took it as a very selfish thing that she did there. Like,
and they're played that way.
yeah,
They're played horrifically.
yeah,
And it's only in kind of going like, okay, well, like in analyzing it and kind of being like, well, she's not a villain, so why is she doing it? You kind of have to go like,
but what she's doing is she is trying to be as truthful as possible.
Yeah.
He isn't there yet and hasn't been for a while.
Yeah.
And so it's just like vomiting out of her, and it's not good because like why would you tell that to your significant other? But that's one of the other major themes of the movie, which I love, is that it explores the idea that like can you ever really know someone? I mean,
Sure,
like
yeah.
even when you're in a long-term relationship
Yeah.
for 10 plus years, 15 plus years, 50 years, it's still another human being that you're never going to be able to live inside their head. So like, how close can you get to know someone completely?
sure.
And that's a really interesting thing to explore.
Now, Art, and let's be clear. In the first one, she is definitely. It is vicious.
That's
it
a
is
calculated
It is
move, yeah.
vindictive. It is like she is reacting to this idea that like you're not even, because she feels owned or trapped or not alive or whatever, and that he just kind of goes through life and can do whatever, and that she just exists here as a kind of piece, just like a thing. He's not affected by her.
Right.
And she's like, you're not jealous. You don't get jealous.
Yeah.
And he's
Jealousy,
like, no,
right.
I don't. And it's just this great thing where you're like,
It's because he's in that.
like, no, I don't, because I trust you. And the thing is, like, he's right to feel that way.
Mm-hmm. But I know that.
But at the same time,
that hit home for me because I've been accused of that. Where it's like, you don't get jealous. And it's like, I don't get jealous because I trust you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it's like, but you don't get jealous ever. And I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah. No. In that scene,
It's like, I want a little jealousy.
That whole scene, and it has to be played that way because he goes off to a sex orgy and tries to fuck two prostitutes and tries to fuck anything at some point, and we're supposed to be on his side. So the only way we're on his side is that we experience what he experienced as traumatically as he experienced it.
Yeah.
And he's going like, no, I don't because
I
I
don't say
trust you. No,
Yeah.
this and that. And it's like,
And
all
that's
right,
what-
later MM7.
it-
but at the
it-
same time,
Well, it's just a fascinating
he's
look
dishonest
at.
with
Yeah.
her.
Oh, it's a total. His
No,
ego is hurt. His ego is hurt,
Sure.
and so he lashes out at her, telling him she told him about a fantasy and then a dream, and he took it as she cheated on me. I'm going to go out. He kisses another hooker. He kisses
does.
2 hookers.
he's good at what?
And he wants
We
to
don't
go
know
and
what's
have-
going to happen
what-
until she calls. The wife calls. The other hooker goes, the girl, my roommate has AIDS, and you were going to have
Yeah.
sex with it. He goes, I guess we're not going to do this because it feels weird to do this now.
Yeah. And
I mean-
he gets cock blocked.
And then-
he's like, I mean, he's
and then the other time
he's
he tries to-
impotent in this entire movie because he
can't-
doesn't have sex.
The third time he tries to have sex, or the other time he tries to have sex with some person, with a person, he's walking down the hall and someone carts her away to kill her, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, yeah, Tom Cruise can't catch a break when he's trying to get some on the side. It's like...
But it's that ego and humiliation because he felt humiliated,
Oh,
and then when
absolutely.
he walks past
But it-
the group of frat guys and he gets shoved out of the way, and then it's
Look
like,
at this well-dressed, clearly successful man.
but it's all motivating him
Absolutely.
into put like because right after that he goes to the hooker,
Totally.
like right after he gets shoved off on the sidewalk, and it's exploring the fragile male ego because it is fragile,
Yeah. And it-
whether we want to admit that or not, like. Male ego can't take a beating. I feel like nearly as much as what women go through on a day-to-day basis, just being subjected to. I feel like if you put a man in a woman's shoes and just kind of how they get objectified a lot and blah 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 blah.
Sure.
Like if we were put in that shoe and we were really treated that way, where we didn't have the power dynamic that kind of comes with men and stuff, we'd be like, this is.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The fact that you can, as a man, generally, like whether it's true or not, you feel like you can walk 3 blocks at 7 o'clock
Yeah.
without getting catcalled, and then behind that catcalling, just like, because you go like, oh, people are just saying like, oh, hey, sweet thing. And you go, that's not bad. I'd love to get called like compliments on you. You're like, no, man. There is a low hum of menace behind
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You don't know who that is. You don't know if that's like a, hey, sweet thing, I'm a stereotypical construction worker, or hey, I'm going to sexually assault you.
Yeah.
And like, you literally don't know that.
And especially if it's like someone who
It's a
could clearly
terrifying
physically
place.
overpower you and stuff like that, like.
And even if like, it don't even have to be, it just has to be someone with the will to do that. They're
Absolutely.
just going to put you in that position.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's
And that's an interesting point
It's
because like
awful.
the entire if this was seen from Nicole Kidman's point of view and she did what he does, it would have to take place during the daytime because just instinctively she'd be like, well, I'm not going to go roam the New York City at night
Yeah.
at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
which is what he does.
Yeah. And
By
you're
the way,
not gonna
all
go
this-
to a masked sex party as a woman because goodness gracious.
Or I guess the movie is trying to say that she would, because one of
Yeah,
the main
sure, that's
things
true.
is
That's
showing
true.
that she
Absolutely.
like one of the intents is be like, no, women have the same feelings that men do.
Absolutely,
It's
100%.
just that is a social norm that has been provided in history that we have just grown accustomed to, that women are more meek towards sexual encounters
because we want them to be.
because it's
because-
that Madonna whore thing.
Absolutely, because a woman is so like, okay, well, hold on.
Women
Hold
have
on.
feelings shaken.
Yeah. No, because men are terrified by women's power. Terrified.
Yes.
Because we can't at
can't
its
do-
mercy.
Absolutely.
And I
We
don't- I
can't
don't
do
even-
what women do.
And I don't mean just sexually. Like the power of a woman to create life, everything
Yeah.
that a woman can do by leaps and bounds. And I'm not trying to down men or anything. By leaps and bounds, if you look at a man and look at a woman, the woman is 80,000 times the magical, mystical being that a human
Oh my God,
that a
yeah.
man is. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Joe Rogan had like a great bit about that in his last stand-up where he was just like, women are by far the superior because
100%.
they literally create things.
Absolutely. Well, they create
us.
humans. They create life.
Which is a crazy thing to think about.
And men had to kind of be like, whoa, we're important too.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna push you down if you don't say that.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the thing is like, you know, there's all this stuff that goes back and forth about like what a woman's power in society is. It's true. Men have crushed it because they can't deal with it.
Right.
And it's true. It's true.
And
They
yes,
require
they
another person. Absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm not saying we're
But they are the
insignificant.
ones that literally create the being within themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
We provide a little seedling.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not a little seal. What am I even saying? There's just, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it's interesting because like, you know, you have that frat scene where he gets shoved to the curb and he gets called like a homosexual or whatever, and they use worse
they don't use that
terms than
word.
that. But then, you know, on the reverse side of that, you have the scene with Alan Cumming basically eye fucking him
Yeah.
in the lobby,
'Cause everyone-
like
yeah.
in a very overt performance in
like
that
to
scene.
the point. Yeah, to the point where that was another thing where I was like, stop.
I know, but
that's the point.
That is the intent.
the
Because
point.
and it's another like, oh, this is the whole Eyes Wide Shut theme, because Tom Cruise almost doesn't register it.
Yeah.
Or he just puts up with it because
Because that's what he
trying
does
to get
all the time.
It's
his life.
It's just his life, and he's like, I'm a doctor, and he holds his fucking doctor's license up like it's a badge. He does that like multiple times throughout the film. And because he's trying to get information, and it's almost like an exchange of services. Like, I'm going to let you eye fuck me because I want to get info out of you. And I know by letting you eye fuck me and do this overt flirtatious thing, then you'll give me what I want. Because he plays real coy. He's like, well, maybe I can't really remember. And then he unloads, like, he was like, actually, 2 men came in. He was bruised. He came down. He gave me a letter. Yeah. Like, it was this very detailed scene.
It's funny you should come in here and mention it.
Yeah. He's like, I don't really
Because here's
remember, but and then he gives a very detailed analysis of that scene, and it was just all very pointed. Where it reads on first viewing is like overacting,
Sure.
but then you realize it was like, well, that's kind of the intent of the scene, because guess what? I've encountered that exact scenario before, to a T, where it was as overt and like it's just. People, you think it's that thing that you're talking about where you're like, that's gotta be overact, like that's bad acting. You're like, no, because in real life, people are like that.
Well, the thing is, what's interesting, and here's where you get layers and you can go insane, is that people in real life are bad actors sometimes.
Right.
In the sense that
you put that on a t-shirt.
No, in the sense that like when someone is like doing that like Alan Cumming is doing. And they're not going they're not going, my intent is to be truthful. They're going, my intent is that I want to tell you I want to have sex with you.
With my eyes.
Yeah. And they go, and I want to make sure you get it, but
Yeah.
I'm not a skilled or subtle actor. I'm just going to do. People do
Right.
what they see in movies.
Yeah.
It's true. Like I have gotten, where I said it's like, ideally, as an actor, you want to get to a place where you're emoting and not thinking about how you're looking. Mm-hmm. As an actor, as a person, I don't know if this is just as an actor, and I don't think it is. Sorry, did I spit?
No,
all
I had a piece of hair in mine.
Several. As a person, when I'm going through an extreme emotion, I go, what do I look like? Mm-hmm. What am I doing? Is this like a moment in a movie? Like I have those analytical, those self-aware moments,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn, and I've seen it with my children learn to cry because it gets them because it's a way to indicate something has gone to a higher level. We learn to communicate in ways that express what we're feeling. Like if I get there, those times when I'm sure you've ever gotten angry about something, and in the middle of being angry about it, you have a moment where you go, oh, I don't need to be angry about this. I don't need to be this angry about it. But you're like, but it feels important, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
And I can't go back now. I gotta see it through.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you go, it's a performance. Arguments are performances.
Absolutely.
I mean, they really are. It drive me crazy to walk away. Some sailor does it instead. Are you talking about? Wait, what's going on? Having sex is a sex symbol of all time. You're married. Oh! I see pixel. Yeah, you're just like, that's funny. They got a sex tape.
Yeah, but then some sailor does it instead.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, I thought this was going to be a sexy movie between me and my wife. I got to leave for 6 days while this other guy finger bangs her. Like, because here's the thing.
Specifically.
Do you think, I was thinking about this last night, do you think Kubrick kept all the footage from him so he didn't see it till the premiere? So when he's watching his performance,
then it's like, at that point,
and then
it's
he
like,
cuts to the
okay,
flashback
man.
of what he's thinking about, and then he cuts back to his face, and it's just he's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
He's like, he flipped her over. Oh
Yeah.
god. Because like, fuck me, that would be
because
hard to watch.
At that point, I was like, if he didn't let him see, or if he didn't, if he was just like, wait till you see it, then you go, no. At that point, you're just screwing with him. That's awful.
I wish he would, and I hope he says it like that. He's like, wait till you see it.
Yeah.
She really got it.
Oh boy. That dude, boy, we hired him but he put in some work. It's like, goodness.
His
gracious.
penis was
Yeah.
enormous.
Yeah, you really.
He just plopped it.
Hey, Kaizoku 2793, thank you for the follow, you thunk. Boy. Yeah.
But it's the subtly like, because like there's two scenes where he was both criticized for being, or at least looking like a gay guy, and then he was come on to, and then it's interesting because
That's
throughout
the thing with Tom Cruise.
that's a thing with Tom Cruise,
Right.
is he gay or whatever, and I just thought that was an interesting thing because, and I thought it kind of explained Alan Cummings' performance somewhat, because it's like, oh, he just readily assumes that this is a gay guy, and so he might have a real shot, and so
Or
he's
he's
just going for it.
Yeah, or he's just like, if there's a chance.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna not like be ambiguous about it. So
Yeah.
that if any part of him is curious, he'll just like, okay, like
Yeah.
if there's any chance. He doesn't look gay to you? Sure. I don't know. Yeah.
I think you said it all with that hesitation just then.
N-
You were like, oh, he doesn't? Because he does.
No. I was saying I don't know how you look gay, and you do have a good gaydar. All right, this is I feel like this is. We'll have to excise.
Tom's is a man's man who high fives and then low fives whenever he wants.
What does a gay guy look like? Exactly. Apparently, Jimmy Fallon missed out on dating Nicole Kidman. Oh, I've seen.
I heard
I've seen
about that. Yeah,
I've watched that, and it's the most like.
I was like, wow.
I watched that interview, and I was like, am I supposed to be watching
Yeah.
this? Is so uncomfortable. And they both got partners and families at home. It's
yeah, it was funny.
but it's interesting. There's so much going on, and Akasha pointed this out. She points out lots of things, and she was like, because back to the like repeating thing. It's interesting when he uses it. He uses it when he's uncomfortable. He's trying to think of something. He uses it when basically anytime there's heightened emotion. The models are they're talking to him, and he's like, do I want to see the end of the rainbow? Because they're flirting with him, and he's like, this is a lot, and I like it, but it's also like, I'm not allowed to do this, but also, so let me kind of come up with something that's playful and whatever, but also not past something that like I'm not gonna whatever. He does it. He does it constantly, but he does it with Sidney Pollack. He does it when he's being interrogated. It's
a man trying to
constant.
keep a grasp on who he was as he's transformed into a real person for probably the first time in a long while. That's what I take from that. Is every time he repeats a line, it's him trying to hold on to the semblance of the confidence and the veneer of like this doctor person that he has lived his life as for a long time. But it keeps, for whatever reason, throughout this evening, keeps getting shattered left and right with new experiences of like hard reality. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even talked about the woman whose father died, and he goes over there and he's like, I love you, I love you, I love you.
That's a great performance.
That's a fantastic performance,
She's
especially
great.
on repeated viewings, because once you realize why she's acting weird from the get-go, and how she's responding to everything, he's like, well, I heard it's supposed to be lovely at that time of year, and she just like, wants him to tell her to stay.
Exactly.
Or that he'll miss her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't think we've had one conversation that wasn't about your father for more than 5 minutes. Yeah. She's like, I love you. I love you. Like, it's,
what a, and those are the things that make this movie great. Are these little like self-contained episodes that you're like
Greg from Dharma and Greg.
Yeah, exactly. One Lily Sobieski and that whole thing,
that whole scene,
crazy thing,
and how Tom Cruise decides to completely ignore the fact that he's like, when I left here, you because he was essentially saying, he was like, when I left here,
Yeah, you
you
were gonna
discovered
have those
that
guys arrested.
you're gonna have them
because-
arrested for having sex with your underage
Underage
daughter.
daughter.
And now you're saying you're gonna sell her off to the
Basically.
highest bidder, and
And
then
then-
they just cut away like he just let it go.
Well, and then he goes, and you know, if you come back, you can have more than just costumes.
Right.
You can have sex with my daughter. You know, and like,
And then
and Tom
immediately,
Cruise just goes, but I
and it cuts to the next scene. It's like this eyes wide shut thing where it's just like I don't want to, for whatever reason, I'm gonna ignore this right now for what it is because I've got more important
yeah,
things
well, I
to
think
move on to.
I think
or-
he's just kind of helplessly. Sorry, and like having his eyes open to the fact that like because constantly this movie goes, and gosh, now we're talking about this, but like constantly this movie goes, people are living these lives of either quiet desperation, hoping for sex because that's what they want, or they are overtly seeking it. Or working or doing it daily as a job,
Yep.
like the prostitutes or Alan Cumming, or just secretly doing it anyway and pretending like they don't, which is like, you know, obviously the Illuminati and this, you know, this guy who was like, he's like, I'm gonna be selling off my daughter, no one's ever gonna know, and it's just gonna be this
It's
secret
just
thing.
like the entire
and
film.
she's like, ta-da!
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise is like,
And she's
well, I'm
like-
helpless
she's
because the whole
almost-
world is this, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And his entry to that was his wife.
Yeah.
Who
It's
was
'cause
going, by the way, this is going on in my head and you had no idea.
And it's because he lives in this ritualistic, like, I believe in social norms and I believe in the value of a social hierarchy and stuff like that. And then Kubrick, through everything, every
content.
motivation throughout the film, from the frat guys, everything is related to sex in some way, shape, or
Absolutely.
form,
Absolutely.
and how it completely permeates your everyday life in every facet in some way, shape, or form via, like, what kind of job you can get or how you're viewed on the street or blah, 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 blah. And how no matter if you're the ultra elite who is running the country or you're the lonely hooker at the bottom of the barrel, it puts almost everybody on a baseline
Sure.
on that level.
Yeah.
Because on a primal instinct,
It's an equalizer.
It's an equalizer because the only thing people are on this earth want to do that puts everybody on a baseline is fuck each other.
Yeah.
And that's why the ending of that line is just like the ending line of the film is so
That's
great.
the
And,
point.
and particularly
whole
a
point.
great way to cap off his career is it's just fuck.
Yeah.
I just thought the fact that he died 6 days
That's
after
his
that,
line,
and like
yeah.
that was his last, and that's the last line of his last film. I was like, that's great.
Yeah. It's interesting too, though, like this whole thing, and it's great casting, because my wife made this.
Make contact with.
Yeah. Yeah. All of my insights this time around came from my wife. No, but she said that she made this comment, and I was like, yeah, it's absolutely true. It's really funny that Tom Cruise goes through this movie. Tom Cruise is an international sex symbol.
Mm-hmm.
He walks through this movie and gets hit on constantly, and you go, yeah, because he's a doctor and he looks like Tom Cruise, but more because like he's Tom Cruise, like because Tom Cruise is a good-looking fella, but but we buy it more because it's Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is kind of funny looking, but he's a good-looking dude. But we buy this because it's like we
I think
just
he's a handsome doctor.
he is sure.
Is he really hit on constantly in this movie though? The two women at the party. A hooker picks him up. I don't know if I would. That's more of a business transaction.
But I mean, she's like,
I think she sees a cuck, as it were, has been referenced. Like I think he sees a target, and
but at the same time, she's like, I mean, like the way they talk and have this conversation, you know, it's like one of those guys where like he's like, yeah, but the hooker really liked me, like, no, yeah, you know,
oh, you would.
what?
Don't ever get a lady in that.
What now? Yeah. No. But
Roy calls me as like this hooker really likes.
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
No, like I know, but like I really think this hooker likes me.
so here's something. One time I went as a back.
Oh!
No, not a hooker.
Do tell.
Not a hooker. My wife knows this. We went. I think I went to a strip club. My wife 100% knows this.
Whoa! Look at the penis on this guy.
Yeah, I got a penis, and I'm not afraid to reference it. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We will talk about that Black Spot, yeah.
That.
Oh yeah,
blew
that's crazy.
my
I can't
mind.
wait to talk about that. Yeah.
That blew my mind. It was someone's birthday. I went. Someone sat like on my knee, like, and she was like, "Hi," and I was like, "I don't have any money. You should talk to me. Probably. I don't want to. I don't want to be here, like, or whatever."
Yeah.
It was just kind of like whatever. But then, what was the part of this that's funny is that I went into the bathroom with a friend of mine. No, went into the bathroom with a friend of mine, and it was like
Blew each other.
yeah. And then I was like, and there was someone in the stall, and so I was like, yeah, man, I don't know, man, like I think she really likes me. Like I just kept like laying it on, and that became my entertainment was to just kind of like, because I was like, I'm not comfortable with like letting these dancers who I'm here with you, man, for your birthday, but I'm not comfortable doing this and then going down like letting them do it. I wasn't gonna pay for anything, I wasn't gonna have anything, but I was like, I'm here to support, whatever. And whatever.
I'm here for the chicken wings.
Yeah, exactly. The articles. I heard they're good articles. No. And then I just like near every person I could, I just kind of had that conversation and was like, look, man, I think she, look, I think she really likes me. Just because, and you know, these people, and I just was like, because I love doing that sometimes, like just being like, I'm just going to try to make this person's day a little more surreal.
Yeah.
I just have them say like, man, some dude. Like I loved it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I've only been.
The only other time I've been was a bachelor party where I went and I like I actually didn't go. I was like I wasn't drinking. It was in New Orleans.
Oh wow!
It was one of my best friends, and we were whatever. But it was like his fraternity, and I just was not. Wasn't in a fraternity. I didn't know these people. But I was there. I was like the best man, and I was like cool. And I hung out, and then like they went off to a strip club, and I was like, I'm just gonna not. I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
And everyone was like. I got like people were like
cool,
yeah,
square.
they're like, this guy sucks. You were running his bachelor party. Anyway, sorry. Talk about the time that you got a hooker. See you. Good night, guys.
Well, I've only been to a strip club. I mean, not so. I've been once, and
don't say it's for that video because then I'll be like
no.
I'm
And then the
worst.
second time was for the video that we did together.
Right.
Which, if they don't know, that's gonna sound really weird.
Nah, it's gonna
But-
sound good. It was basically me going around talking about how a stripper liked me.
But it was funny because when we arrived on set, because we did a little short film thing together, and some of it took place at a strip club. And I got there at 5 a.m, and or when did you show up?
I was there.
At like 9?
No, I was there the night before. I just
Oh.
no, I'm just joking. No, I think yeah.
You got there pretty early.
I got there early.
I think you got there at like 7-ish or something like
Yeah.
that. So I got there at like 5 to set up, and what was funny is I got there just a few minutes early, and so I go in and I got to witness the 5 a.m. crowd on like what was that, Sunday night, or
like they'd been there since.
there was like 3 people left, but dancing like, and this was, we went to a real low how do I put this? It's a full economical strip club, and therefore
Wait, did you say full service? Is that what you're about to say?
not full service, but full frontal. So it was tops and bottoms, which is usually
to describe things that way. Humans are so stupid. We're like, we're gonna go to a room, and there's gonna be a person, and they're gonna flop, and you're just gonna look at them.
But it was weird because I had never seen. Because I mean, no bottoms.
Yeah.
Like the strip club I had been to the one time before, at least it was just like, and that's usually considered the classier one where they keep their, the panties on.
They've got slacks on.
Yeah, but I went in
Sensible
there.
slacks.
I just walk in with lighting gear and stuff and a camera, and I look to my left, and there's just a lady, fully naked, with a man like 5 feet away, just watching her, and it's just like the two of them,
And
I
her
was
face is
and I was
not
just
happy,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is disconcerting. Anyways, that was that.
The only other time I went was Kash and I went one time.
Really?
That's it. I'm
gonna circle back to that.
Okay, good. No, you're not.
Just because I do have a good story about the one time I went to a strip club. I was like 19, and I went with my friends, and we were drunk, and they just dragged me along, and I didn't want to
A lot
go,
of different weird-
and I was much like you, where I was just, this is awkward, and they bought me a lap dance, and like she got on me, and then she purred in my ear, and she was like, "You like that?" And I was so uncomfortable. I was like, "No." She looked at me and she just laughed.
Oh,
She was like, "Do you want me to keep doing this?" I was like, "You do whatever you feel is
exactly.
right."
I was like, yeah, because you sat and she was like, hey, and I go, oh, like you don't, I'm not the wrong tree, wrong tree.
Yeah.
And I was like, she was like, hey, this and that. And she's like, you here with your friends? Like, yeah, I'm just here with my friends. And like, I was like, there are 272 toothpicks on the tree. I don't know what to do.
But the best thing was my friend, who was very comfortable in being in this strip club and was very drunk. About an hour in, he had ordered buffalo wings.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna go tip one of these strippers. And he's eating a buffalo wing with like a bunch of like blue cheese sauce on it. And he gets up and he walks over to the stage. And and the stripper like kneels down and walks over to him and turns around and he pays her and she turns. It's not gonna get weird or anything.
Okay, I was like, this is assault that you're describing. No, go ahead.
But she turns around and she's got her ass inches away from his nose, and he is eating a buffalo wing with buffalo sauce or whatever, and he's just real casually just chomping on, and her butt is like this far from his face, and then over the intercom, because there's like a DJ or whatever who comments throughout the evening, is like, here comes Tiffany and blah blah blah. Over the intercom, the guy goes, "Oh man, that's nasty."
Oh my gosh.
And we all burst out laughing. And my buddy was just like, he just kind of, he was so he was just like, it is what it is, baby.
That's like the one thing you probably don't ever want to say as a DJ at a strip club.
Oh man, because they've seen everything.
Well, and
then the DJ is like, "Oh man, that's
you're just
nasty."
gonna kill the whatever. You're not doing anyone any favors.
But she did it because she was just like, "Yeah, bruh, no." But he gave her like fifth, he was hammered. He was like, "Take this these 220s and just dance in front of my face while I eat food." It's gross. It was really gross.
Oh, humans are.
But wait a minute. So you and Akasha went?
No, that's not. We're not talking about that. I just wanted to be completely honest.
As a couple, or was it part of a larger experience with a group of people, or did you
as
a couple go to a strip club?
This is way too personal. I shouldn't have said anything. I decided later after I said that I shouldn't have said anything.
So you just put that on the table.
Nope. I didn't do that. That's not allowed.
And now you're not gonna give us any.
No, I probably should have asked before I said that I was gonna divulge.
Should have got permission. Anyways,
so let's talk about anything else.
So yeah, it's just really, I thought it's fascinating how this movie, like, sex permeates every single frame.
Oh,
in just how it affects society and relationships and humans in general, and how we think about it and how it motivates us and how it gives us insecurities and how it can fuck with our jealousy and our ego and give us confidence when it needs to give us confidence and how it can take that away.
And how we're just weird about it. Like the fact that I just said that and then I was like, that's not talk about it. It's like, who gives a shit?
It's just overall considered a taboo thing.
We went because we were like, we never did this. Let's do it.
Yeah. It's weird that
deal with it.
And
I like fancy coats in video games. That sounds weird in this context. Go ahead.
But I think that's why I find the Christmas party mirrored with the orgy as a fascinating, very simple but very effective mirroring, because it's, if you really break down human beings, it's just like, we just kind of decided that, like, we're gonna wear clothes.
Yeah.
And so and then if you're not wearing clothes, you gotta like pay for that, or that's considered obscene, or you can't go, a woman can't go down the street without having a shirt on, essentially.
Technically in Austin, supposedly legally she can.
Oh really?
But it probably would. Yeah. Think about it.
But it's weird that's
remember boobs.
Yeah, like that's a law in most states, or that's a one-off that we can do that here in Austin.
Right. Yeah, sorry, yeah, exactly. No, you're right. It is strange that we got upright and then decided to put these things on, and then we were like, it's special when you take them off.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like if we had hats And
Yeah.
we started putting hats on, and then like 100 years from now, we were like, "Yo,
I've said that
saw this
to
girl
my.
take a hat off."
Yeah.
She took her
But
hat off.
Don't you think that's part of it though? Like, don't you think that by hiding it, it
Yeah.
makes it all the more?
Oh,
it's
100%.
Like, yeah,
100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
because I mean, that's weird. It's just like if I didn't show you my hand,
yeah.
look, man, I'm gonna stop showing you these bad boys, and then one day I'm gonna
Not
come
for
over,
free.
and then I'm gonna be like, boom,
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're
like,
gonna
"Whoa!
you're gonna have a weird reaction to
Whoa!"
that.
It's gonna be weird. Somebody's gonna get an embarrassment or cold. Yes. The other thing though, like so Tom Cruise again, international sex symbol.
In some place, you have to put clothes on or you freeze. That's very true.
That is
Of
true.
embarrassment or cold. Yeah.
But so Tom Cruise, just, you start listing like sexiest people alive or whatever people,
Right.
whatever. Tom Cruise is at the top of the list for men, supposedly, right? Or
It is weird.
throughout the years. Well, it's not weird.
I mean, I agree.
I'm not
He
saying it's
is.
weird. I'm not saying it's like.
Well, I just don't. Because I do think he's kind of funny looking sometimes.
Sure, but he's. I mean, like I'm not.
He's like 5'4".
But I mean, like whatever. He's whatever. He's a huge movie star. Like all that. I
not
think
that cool.
Totally. Was that?
He's not that cool.
Yeah. What's he got?
Male
What's he got?
ego.
What's he got? No, but like, but he is. He's
Yeah,
international
right,
sex symbol,
yeah.
Tom Cruise. But Akasha pointed out, and I was like, yeah, it's 100% true. And I feel like it works for the character, and he may be playing it like this, but at the same time, I just kind of believe that she's like, he is a sex symbol, but he is not a sexual person.
Yeah.
And that work, and whether
It's
that's
weird
true
to
or
see
not.
him do lovemaking shit on camera or anything like that.
But also, it's like when you see him flirting with those girls, it's like the weirdest, like most
It's
uncomfortable
very
flirting
awkward,
thing.
yeah.
Even when he goes like, there's like one time, like he does that. Even when he like is forward with that woman, he's still kind of going like, like. And I'm not saying like
Oh, it's weird. Have you heard the
like it's all very, and it works perfectly for the film because it's like that is that guy.
Yeah.
That's that guy who like I mean
and I think that's how he is.
has sex with his wife, but like, and like, I'm sure, not, whatever. I'm sure he gets it done. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sure he gets it done. I don't know. I'm sure he can have sex with his wife, and that's a thing that happens, right? But what I'm saying is like anywhere else in the world, he's a guy who gets hit on who doesn't really know how to deal with it comfortably.
Oh, I think he has. I think he's been at this point, and I'm talking about Tom Cruise.
You're talking about the human being.
I think he has been and I think this is why like fame is such a weird,
It is.
dangerous thing because he has been famous for so long that
Yeah. Literally.
why would he know how to communicate in a normal way? Like
Yeah.
why? Because his life is in no way, shape, or form and hasn't been that for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard the story about him going to a Super Bowl party?
Mm-mm.
Someone told this story on a podcast that I was listening to, and he was like, "Yeah, I did a group. I was in a movie that Tom Cruise was in, and I did a group invite, and I invited like a bunch of the crew and stuff, and some of the cast. It was like a real casual thing, and like I knew Tom wasn't gonna come, but like I had his email, so I CC'd him on it, just out of more of respect or anything, but I knew he wouldn't come." And then the Super Bowl, Super Bowl Sunday, and people start to come over, and the doorbell rings, and I open it, and Tom is on my doorstep, and he's got a brand new football, like a clean as a whistle, brand new football that clearly his assistant like went out and bought, and then like gave him, and then he was like, "Cool, this will be like, I'm gonna go to a Super Bowl party with
the guys.
with the guys." And we're all kind of taken aback because it's also kind of like feeling like our boss is here.
Yeah.
And so he shows up and he's being he's incredible. He's like he's the nicest man on the planet,
of
and
course.
like he's a true professional. And I think he's a great, and I do think he is a phenomenal actor, and he puts more into his performance. It's why. I mean, did you see Mission Impossible Fallout? Like, I was just like, God, what a pro! Like, just what a pro! Yeah. What a consummate professional.
And
Anyways,
I think he's a really,
I think he's a
really
phenomenal
nice
actor.
guy. I think he's a great dude. I really do think that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think people can call him weird, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But he's got his Scientology thing, and that's what it is. But if you watch him in Magnolia, I'm like, that's a great performance.
Mm-hmm.
And like, anyways, So he's at the party and he's conversing with everybody, and then like we all go into the kitchen, and like we're just kind of having beers, and like we just kind of moved into the kitchen for like halftime or whatever, and we're talking about like some of the guys are talking about their wives or something, and and he's still holding this football, and he's just like at one point there's like a little lull, and he's like, you know what the best part about me being married is, guys? He's like, fucking your wife. And he was like, it was so awkward. He killed it. He was like, it was so awkward because, like, I was like, oh, he doesn't know how to, like, he just doesn't know because he's been at that A level of fame for so long.
Well, it's also
that he doesn't know how to
relate with anyone.
to a
anyone
normal
who isn't
person
like that. I mean, anyone who doesn't.
and
deal with
why
that kind of
should
thing.
he? Like, it's just one of the true
literally, it's like-
tragic downfalls of being in that.
Yeah.
And I mean, because he's not
It's
famous.
like it's like a king
yes,
coming down and being
It
like,
is.
what do you like? And the thing
because
is,
he's not famous. He is Tom Cruise.
yeah, and it's weird because and part of it might not be like if he felt that was weird and left, he'd probably be like, that's so dumb because I know how to react. But the fact is that like as soon as he walked in that room, he's aware that they're aware he's Tom Cruise.
Yes.
He's aware that all of it's going to be.
Oh,
strange.
I don't
mean,
think-
it's like
I
no,
don't
no,
think
it's not like he's an alien, but it's like.
But it
What
probably
are you gonna do?
It probably feels that way
Yeah.
to those people. But
Yeah.
also, it's just like I guarantee you that like the benefits of like his life, he's just like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if they
Yeah,
think I'm weird.
Sure. It's a yeah.
But it's an interesting like fame, and that's why I love Assassination of Jesse James because I
Yeah.
think it really analyzes celebrity
Yeah.
in a fascinating, heartbreaking way.
Yeah.
Because I do think when you get to that particularly stratospheric levels of fame that Tom Cruise and like your Marilyn Monroe's, like your legendary, like gonna go down in history as their name type people.
Yeah.
I think that's a real lonely place to be.
Absolutely.
I really think that.
Absolutely. It's also weird that like when Tom Cruise says "fucking your wife," we go, "We all know exactly who your wife is."
Yeah.
And
We've
fucking them.
probably all imagined having sex with her at some point in our lives because they're world-renowned actors.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sebastian. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, he was right. Yeah. No, and it's not that it's not like that in general that's a weird joke to make. It's just that I think that anecdote is about that attempt to be that familiar.
Yeah. It's a guy's thing. He's like he's trying to be. He's playing the role of a normal person.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think their reaction was like, "How dare he say that?"
Right.
I think their reaction was like, "Yeah, Tom Cruise." Like,
Oh,
like
for
what
sure.
Do
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do? Like, unless you've been my wife. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Sebastian? Yeah. Sorry, we're talking about weird stuff. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, hi. But it's funny because like you read.
Anyway, I say all that like because like you see that particularly in that second scene at the hooker's place when he's talking with the roommate.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get to the point of telling him this very tragic news, but he's still like she's like, you should sit down. And I love the way he played that because he's flirting with her and he's slowly undoing her jean shirt and then she's like, you should sit down. And I thought it was brilliant how he handled that because he looks so awkward but still trying to be smooth.
That's
and
it.
he's still got this smile on his face, but he's sitting down like, this is weird. How do I?
Yeah.
So he does like a weird laugh and he's like, and he's leaning in.
Yeah, and he's like,
she's
okay.
like, okay,
All right.
so here's the thing.
Yeah.
She has AIDS, and it's I think it's one of the best acted scenes in the movie, but he does that repeat thing a lot in that scene to great effect, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what. Yeah, I mean, that's how do you deal with that? And I think it's true. Like, I think that. But it's an interesting thing, right? In a movie about it's a very interesting casting choice, and I think that aspect of it works very well. And I'm not saying Tom Cruise isn't, because I feel like this is not like for the truth of it is that people are sexual, but not all of them wear it on their sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saying Tom Cruise is probably 100% like able to be intimate and sexual or whatever, but like he just doesn't show that to us,
Mhm.
and by no means should he need to, unless he's in a movie where it's
Which
whatever.
is a weird thing to think about, that
Yeah.
we somehow on a like some subconscious level almost expect for him to do that because of who he is and the career he's chosen.
And but a lot of there are a lot of actors who, and you hear it when they talk about like magnetism and stuff. And Tom Cruise has magnetism, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are actors who are sex symbols who you're like, oh well, that's just it's what people talk about when they're like, that's just a sexual person, like a person who just can't, like, is so womanly or so manly or so whatever that they just have that with everyone, right? And it's interesting because they were talking about this is
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I know, yeah, you got it. But like we were reading about the casting choices that were on the table before Tom Cruise came along, and they're fascinating, right? Because they're like Woody Allen was one. Did you know this?
Woody Allen was for who?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, I thought he was for what?
Yeah.
Really?
Or Steve Martin.
I heard the Steve Martin one.
Yeah, but it like
That would have been kind of cool.
yeah, it would have been interesting. I read it in different
But it's
places.
supposed to be more of like a comedy at
That's
that
it.
point. Yeah.
And I read that later because I read it at one point. I was like, "What?" And I read it. I was like, "Oh." But what's interesting is if you cast Woody Allen is a sexual person. Woody Allen talks and thinks about sex constantly, all the time. He talks about maybe how he's inadequate about it, but every single one of his movies, a lot of his movies are just like sex, and he's got it on the brain, and he's not bashful at all about getting up close to him. He's like, hey, come on, we're gonna do something this, and it's different, but it's just very direct. Whereas Tom Cruise is the exact opposite, deflecting. So it's crazy to think that a movie like this could potentially, in theory, be more sexual with Woody Allen in the lead as opposed to Tom Cruise. And
You're
no
right.
disrespect to either of them, it's just interesting.
Oh yeah. I really think I honestly
Now, yeah, sure.
and I love this movie. I think it's slowly becoming my favorite Kubrick.
I do love it as well. I do.
I ever since I read that he had
60s,
initially
yeah,
wanted to cast Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, and like 90s Alec Baldwin, you know? Like that would
Akasha
have
said
been
the same thing, and I'm not interested in that
Oh,
for some
do you
reason.
not like Alec Baldwin? I think Alec Baldwin might be one of the best actors living, like without question. His ability to do intense drama on such an A level and do comedy almost even better than he can do drama. Like he has no weak links. He is a phenomenal actor. Like on all, and he can do bit roles in movies like The Departed, where he just comes in. He's like, I'm gonna destroy the few scenes that I'm in, where I become one of the most memorable parts of the movie. He did it in The Departed. He did it in The Good Shepherd. He was in like The Good Shepherd for one scene, and is the most memorable scene in the movie. Like he's effortless with his. I'm a big Alec Baldwin fan.
Sure.
Got it. Jeez. Cool.
There are times I feel like he's more like a personality actor. Okay. I like Alec Baldwin. I like Alec Baldwin.
That's
All right. Sorry.
personality actor. Wow.
No, you mean like, just like where you get him to. Alec Baldwin is yeah, good actor. I like him.
Yeah, did you see him in Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in that.
Yes, he was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I like him more in drama, and I haven't seen a lot of that lately.
Did you see him in Beetlejuice?
Yeah, he's great in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, well, he is great in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it's good. We agree.
It's good.
Sure. This is good. But then another casting choice was Harrison Ford.
Fuck.
Which
I know
that's the one where I go, oh
Ugh,
dang,
fuck,
that would
have
be
been
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I thought he wanted a Harrison Ford type, and then I was like, well, why didn't you just get Harrison Ford? Because I read that last night. I was like, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And it would have been.
Yeah.
Like 1999 Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Did you think he was too old? at that point?
I don't
Because what is it?
know.
That was like Air Force One era
Oh, it's after that, I think.
after that. So even older.
Yeah, 99 is like 6 days, 7 nights,
So he was just too old.
probably.
Yeah.
Because he'd been prepping it since forever. Since,
God, 80s Harrison Ford
I mean,
in
like even like early 90s Harrison Ford is what I yeah like
Yeah.
he's so man Harrison Ford in the right role in a role like that is really interesting,
Like-
because he's just so
I mean, he's
confused by everything and
wait a minute.
Fidelio I didn't get the other one. Wait, what is your name?
Stop fucking my wife.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, do I want to? I don't know why I'm doing that.
He's like, who's the one-armed man
Yeah.
in this orgy? That's not an arm?
No, yeah, I did.
Whoa.
That's what. Good for you, son. Oh, nice shooting, kid. That was 1 in a million. Good night.
Just a guy wielding a sword for like 20 minutes, and then he's just like...
Oh boy. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with like. Did you hear the thing with the last name Harford?
Was Harrison Ford condensed?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
He wanted someone vanilla like Harrison Ford, and because there was originally the character in the novella is
Or
Jewish,
Jewish, yeah.
and Kubrick was like, no, I just want like a blank slate where there are no anything.
Yeah,
It's
like, the
just
more
just
you
like
read
a
about it-
blankly American blank slate people.
The more you read about it,
Like white bread.
the more I understand why people are like, was this Kubrick taking down Tom Cruise in like some subversive way? Because when you read stuff like that, because I read that and he's like, he wanted a very vanilla couple, but he
Sky.
wanted a famous couple that was actually married.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh. And then like seeing how he used Tom Cruise's own personality to get a lot of like, it's a critique within the film,
Sort of,
but he's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
that's got to be very close to at least how Tom Cruise presents himself to the public in real life.
Sure.
It's interesting.
I
It's interesting.
yeah,
I agree, Janko. Like that, particularly
Yeah.
in this era, like this current era, like there's so many people that have passed that I'm like, I just want to know what people think about the past 2 years, and just, I mean, all politics aside, just how view the overall world. You know,
people have gone
so much has
crazy at
changed.
each other's throats. Yeah, yeah, there are. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I had some stuff I was gonna say.
Oh, can I just before I forget?
Yeah, please.
I think going back to, is this a Christmas movie? I do think this
Oh.
is a Christmas movie. If we're going with the notion that if you remove Christmas from this, does it still work? And I don't think this does, because I do think thematically it plays very interesting, not only in visual motifs, but the use of Christmas from a consumer standpoint. Like the movie ends
Big
in
shopping.
with them shopping in like a mega mall type like toy store type scenario, and they keep showing Christmas trees in almost every room that he goes into, like apartment, or there's always a different Christmas tree. Like even in the I think in the woman who's secretly in love with him, in the bedroom there's like a Christmas tree, I think, of some sort.
Oh, maybe, yeah, probably, sure.
But oh fuck, maybe I'll have to reference my notes here. I had an angle on that. But I just, it's Christmas trees, Christmas in general is such a
Interesting trope.
it's just familial imagery, and it's all about family and love.
Yeah.
And we use it as this thing, but it's all Christmas in that aspect is also a completely consumer driven holiday.
Yeah.
Christmas itself is more of a religious thing, but the Christmas tree and the lights, bless you, and all this stuff, that's all to sell shit. And so it's just this veneer and like this whole thing of like, oh, look how wholesome and stuff. And you can see the parallels from that to Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman's marriage in the film, and how it looks great on the outside, but there's also this consumer thing.
Okay.
There's just like another layer to it, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it adds something.
I'm not verbalizing that well enough,
No,
but like
yeah.
I feel like there's a very clear parallel to why he's
where
using that.
where the spirit of the thing or the way the thing should be is twisted by something that looks shiny and good on the outside but misses the point.
Right.
And that's kind of their marriage. I totally.
And even at the end of the movie, like, I don't think they wrapped it up with a bow. Like, they figured it out with those last lines.
No, right.
Like, I felt like that was almost misguided. Like, oh, well, the only thing we should do now is go home and fuck. I'm like, no, you guys need to, like, do some deep therapy on stuff, because it feels like you're going to go home and try to fuck your pain away.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of, and just going to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
I looked at it as a complete tragic ending of like, no, you guys aren't going to last much longer, or you're going to stay in this marriage and it's going to implode.
Really?
Or you're just going to live in a loveless marriage for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a breakthrough for them, and
I think it could
they
be
do better.
But then the very last line is like, well, what should we do now? It's like, I think the only thing we can do now is to go home and fuck, and then it ends, and I'm like, oh, that's your solution is what has caused everything to happen in the first place.
Well, I think they need to build to that. Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the point, is like, he's like, oh, they think they figured it out, and they have had a very clear breakthrough.
Yeah.
But then she thinks that by fucking, that's going to bring them intimacy.
That's
but that's not it. That's not what intimacy is.
Right. That's interesting.
And I think she did believe it in the moment. I think she thinks that's the solution.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, just by nature of saying it, she thinks that's intimacy.
Yeah.
And on some level, that is intimacy, but that's not what they're lacking. I think they have a healthy sexual relationship. But that's not what they're lacking. What they're lacking is real life communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you fried?
I'm kind of getting there, but there are a couple things. There are interesting things like there's the scene that later is referenced, where it shows him at work, and he's.
Oh, I loved his office. It was so normal looking.
It was
depressing.
Weird. To me, I was like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah, I thought something would be
a great. I don't know.
Yeah, it did not. I was like, "Oh, he's not as high up as we thought he would be."
Yeah.
Or maybe he is making decent money, but in terms of prestige,
but it's
that was a very normal looking office.
Agreed. I was like, I'm surprised by how. Yeah, that's interesting. But he goes into work, and there's the kid, and then there's that scene where there's a topless woman who looks like the women in the other thing. Like she is. Her waist is tiny.
Yeah.
And her breasts are gigantic, and aesthetically, what one would see in a.
Jeez,
a
Brian, why
men's
don't you ogle
magazine.
a little bit more?
I'm not. My point is. I go, what? That's like what? I go, why? And then she's got her shirt completely off, and he's just going, stethoscope, like that, which you don't need to take someone's shirt off to do a stethoscope, but who knows what they were doing. And then it goes to the other thing, and then later she's like, do you think, she mentions she's like, you see women, what do you about when you're doing a mammogram? And maybe he was doing a mammogram at some point there. It's like, are they thinking of anything? Are you thinking when you like that's like you're like, goodness gracious.
But
the
more we analyze her performance, the more I'm like, boy.
What is the point of? Should I do my Black Dog? Every character is like that in Black Dog Only. But anyway, what is the point of having that? Because she distractingly looks like a model. She looks just like the other. Because the women in that sex party all look exactly the same, and you go like, okay, this is a movie.
Also, Kubrick has a very specific type of woman. Like you see it in there's a lot of nude women in almost all of his in a lot of his films, and it's just something I've noticed. He has a very specific look in terms of like physicality.
Sure, but what's interesting is that like in the party, you go like, okay, this is a movie. They just went to central casting, got his whatever. But like it makes sense because it's the high priced hookers. It's sort of it's like it's the high priced hookers. It's the it's the Illuminati. But you go like even high priced hookers, like I don't know, but it's like they're not cast from actual model. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there would be more.
What are you trying to
not
say?
realistic because they are real women, but like
More
yeah, like
well, I think
so in the party it makes more sense.
they're saying like shapely and curvier women, or
Sure, or just women with breasts that are more normal.
well, I think that was.
I mean it makes sense in the party.
It goes back to
in the doctor's office scene. That woman looks like she stepped out of that party, and I'm like, why?
I think it was just to show that like it to motivate that scene later on.
I think so too, Collie. But you mean like in the world of the movie, she is one of those people. I mean, I don't know what that adds. I think you're meant to notice it, but like you would notice it if it was a nude woman and he was touching her breast. You would notice that.
I think it was to show that like some of his clientele.
Oh, because they
is
pay a lot of money. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it could have just been a model,
Could have been a model,
and
sure.
I think it was to show that his clientele is high tier, good looking,
Sure.
and that is a realistic thing for her to bring up later on in the film.
Sure.
So they know what she's referencing, and I think it is an interesting foreshadowing to what because it does make you think about. It was like, oh, is she? Because you remember it, obviously, because it's very, you're just like, oh, that's a beautiful woman getting her boobs checked.
Yeah.
And it's just, you remember it. And so when they all disrobe and they all have similar body types, you immediately do think, oh, is she a part of this? And is his world just being permeated? And so I think that's not wrong to maybe draw that conclusion that maybe she was a part of the orgy, because his world is like he's at a lower tier where he's making house calls to the ultra elite.
Sure.
So he's got his foot in the door, kind of, but that's about it. But I think his clientele is these higher level people, and I know that the one girl's a hooker. Are they all hookers? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people having sex were. I don't know.
She's very good. She's like well, it's to the point where both my wife and I were like, what? like okay. Like the thing is, like they didn't show any other. They showed that woman and they showed a child. Like those are the only two patients he waited on. Like they didn't show any. The normal person was the child, I guess, but like it was distracting to me, and it kind of made me go like, what? And it made me. The thing is, I didn't know the point. I didn't know the intent of it, or if there was an intent, or it made me question like, oh, did Kubrick just want, like, if he's going to cast a nude woman, does he just want her to look like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like I feel like
I
he
think
has a very specific
I think it
type.
detracts from the movie, but to me.
But I also think he was trying to show that it permeates his entire life in some way, shape, or form. I see what you're saying though, but going
It's
back
strange.
to, he does have a specific type where throughout his movies they all have that body type.
But I think it would have been more effective to me
If it was a normal looking person.
oh, like an attractive woman.
Sure.
And I'm not saying, look, I'm just like, and that woman, I'm not saying she's not, she's proportionate. Sure, that's a lovely woman. But I think there are lovely women who just
You want your Laura Linney in Love Actually. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
But I mean,
No,
like a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Laura Linney
Like
is
a woman where you go like,
you
oh,
like, I
that's,
can.
and you think about it. You get the same result if you go, that's an attractive woman with a normal body, not even like it doesn't have to, just whatever. And he's touching it, and then you think about you get the same result, but you don't go what, What? No, you don't.
Just the way you're describing, you're just like, look, here's what I want. All right, I want
I
I
want
want a more normal looking woman, and I just want her to like touch her this way, like just want a little and this, and like this is what I like, and it's just like. I wish he was wearing like a little, like a tea cap, and
like just like a train conductor.
And if you could just make eye contact at the camera, just once, twice, and then I'm done.
Not what I'm saying.
I don't need a lot to finish, and I'm good.
What I'm saying is it seemed almost like like I'm like, is that like a fan service thing? It's not. It's just a person who didn't pull me out of it to go like, what is that? Was that a directorial choice? Did he cast her because, you know what I mean? Like it made me think about the casting as opposed to what was going on in the film. I don't know. It's interesting to me. But it wasn't a big. But you
I completely see what you're saying.
Okay. I wonder. She looks like a model, so that way she just stands out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can get the same thing with just having an attractive woman who specifically doesn't look like a model, but is attractive, and get the same whatever. To me, it has more impact that way because you go, it's a thing that really does happen. Because you've already got Tom Cruise as a doctor. Mm. You're trying to normalize things, right? Like, I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Showing her working as a doctor, but on a model and acting as a doctor and not being weird about it.
I think it was just.
I guess so.
And sure. I think there's an intentional, like, he absolutely was like, I want to draw some type of comparison from, I want people to remember this moment. So when we get to the orgy, like there's something going on where he wants those two things to be put together for whatever reason.
Sure. I mean, even like Beautiful Women, even if it was like a woman who was older and had plastic surgery to look like that, or a woman who just the fact that she's like a 24-year-old woman.
I think what Ken's saying, it might not. It might be.
He's accustomed to being.
Yeah,
sure.
But I understand you're wanting just a slightly more realistic version of that, where it's just like,
and it's always a weird
just not a Victoria's Secret model,
sure,
and someone a little.
And that's
more
what I'm saying. It's like a beautiful woman,
right.
A beautiful woman, but not like, because you get the same thing. And again, it's a discredit to that woman to call her not realistic. She is a real human being who looks like that. But it's what. What
did you say in your review?
Model spondent.
God, at some point I want you to send me every review you ever wrote, because every time you mention one, you always have like a pun that I'm like, that's fucking gorgeous. Like, it's fucking
Is that
gorgeous.
Good. Oh boy. Well, I can.
A real model spondent. Hey, it's your model spondent here. Where do you live? Because I'm gonna come kill you.
This sort of movie they showed it might have been seeing as trying to send a message they didn't intend to send. Yeah, I mean, this dude is around beautiful women all the time. Right. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it distracted and not like that, but it made me question it. I was kind of like, wait, what are they saying with this? Because it seems very specific. It's a specific type of woman.
It kind of it reinforced the idea that, like, in his mind, I think when he says, he was like, that is different. I do not think about it that way.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, they do not show him in that movie. They show him for a split second, and he does this.
Yeah.
But we don't see any We don't see anything that shows that he is not.
He's acting pretty professional.
He is, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't.
I think the takeaway there is when he says it,
he does. Sure.
You're like, I think that's true. Yeah. And I certainly think that he wants to be that person.
Sure, of course.
But he's also a man.
Yeah.
And a human being.
Yeah.
And we all think about sex, men or women, every minute or whatever the statistic is. And it's like, he can be that person who is a complete professional.
Yeah.
And also, that's an incredibly attractive woman
sure.
Who is naked in front of him.
And he's not.
So do you think
unaware of that?
So even if he's professional in that moment, does he not think about that maybe later on when he's in the shower or something?
Or like, is he not making an effort and it's there anyway? Like,
does he have to make a conscious effort to not sexualize her?
Absolutely.
It's like a lot of
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where. Well, and that's part of my issue. Well, it's part of my issue. It's not
right, Collie. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had many movies that were better looking what they were. Absolutely, I agree, Don Beach. But there's a difference. Like that woman specifically had to me had a model body. I mean, like, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, like, and just like
very similar to what you see at the orgy
Right.
later on.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Women in movies tend to be good looking. Usually, people want to look at good looking people, not ugly people.
Right, Don
Yeah,
Beach. But
it's
when
true.
you look at like even I'm gonna like even if Nicole Kidman had been sitting there, Nicole Kidman's body is like my wife was like, she's had 2 kids, but and she's in like ridiculous shape. But Nicole Kidman's body is not like that woman's body. Nicole Kidman's
Right.
body is she's in incredibly good shape, but her breasts look like normal. I mean,
Keep going.
she's kept herself in wonderful shape, but they look like breasts that a normal person could have.
You think those were fake boobies?
I'm not saying they're fake. I'm saying so.
What are you saying?
Down the wrong rabbit hole.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is that looks like a woman who was hired.
You're saying those boobs left you speechless.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Oh my gosh.
They're not average boobies.
I'm saying as a.
Bro, do you think my boobs are fake?
I think what I'm saying is that that woman
Had fantastic boobs.
has a body like a model, like those women. And if you saw Nicole Kidman's body, there's no
Nicole
way.
Kidman has a great body.
She has a fantastic. There's no way
Why
to
do you
win
love
here.
her body so much?
Gosh darn it! If you
You're
saw her,
married man.
if you saw her walking around that thing, you'd be like, "Oh, there's a person that like is."
But if you saw the other woman, you'd be like,
I'm not. This is not a shovel situation. If you will all just
Man.
stop making it
Nicole
so.
Kidman's body. Am I right, folks?
Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it.
Oh, I want to go with Brian to a strip club so he can speak in old-timey speak just like that, where he's trying to crack 1920s jokes.
I'm gonna go.
He's got a big like cane where
I'll-
he's just trying to yank the women off stage.
I'll be asking about why this woman? Why cast this woman? It's distracting. And they're like,
You'll get mud on your suit.
yeah. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Enjoy it, you bastards.
Oh, digging that deep.
It's not a hole.
Boy,
it's not a hole
I
because
could
you
listen
said-
to you
it's-
talk about boobs for a long time.
Well, it's your lucky night because I am talking about boobs. You're supposed to see
yeah,
you mean my
I
breasts
know
are
what
nice
you're
and
saying. You want smaller boobies on that lady.
I don't. I'm saying she looks like a woman who's
That's unfair to her. Those were natural boobs,
Absolutely.
and she just happened to have she was
Yeah.
gifted with that body.
absolutely.
You're putting her on a pedestal.
I'm not putting on her pedestal. I'm saying she looks like
What does she look like?
a woman who's who keeps herself in that shape because of her job.
Oh, so you're saying that because she looks like that, she's a stripper or a hooker?
No, I was saying a model. She looks like a model.
Why is she a model? Because she's gorgeous?
Yes.
So she doesn't have a brain, though.
You're saying it, man. You're saying it. Gosh darn it. This is all the worst. This is it.
But this is what's fascinating, because this is what the movie's talking about. Is like it's weird to talk about sex because it's such an
she looks
explosive
like a-
minefield.
It looks like a woman. It looks like a naked woman in a movie. It looks like a body double. It looks like a woman
I know
who is
what
cast. I know cast in this role because she has that body. Now, but they're playing it as a normal scene, as a normal run of the mill thing that happens in his life. I think it should be a woman who is striking, but not to the point where it looks like a casting job. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway,
What is it called? The casting job?
a casting job is what you. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. Oh, guys.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh,
Anyway.
boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
I think this is the end of all of it.
Titty impasse. Speed digging.
Eyes Wide Shut, the Archie Coleman movie. Yes, Red Wolf Man, Red Wolf from yes.
Oh
Those
my
outside of
god.
actors have very specific body. Do they? So you all know what I'm talking about. Of course, you all have this entire time. It's just funny to watch me squirm. You sons of bitches.
Oh shit. I am really having a good time.
I'm
over
glad.
here.
I'm glad. This is good. I'm glad that I've said all the things that are gonna. This is the end of the stream. End of the. Thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, all the naked. Okay, there we go. So there we go. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but like, yeah, okay. Specific Hollywood perfect body profile is exactly what I'm talking about.
And
Thank
it
you,
is
Hollywood.
interesting because like I look at that body type and I'm not attracted to. I've had this conversation with Kelsey where she's like, you don't think Angelina Jolie is gorgeous? And I'm like, no. And I also, and then I would come back with her. I'd be like, I also think that women find Angelina Jolie to be far more like gorgeous and beautiful. And like, truly she is, but I think she's like objectively beautiful. Like a statue is beautiful.
Sure.
And I think, and I think this is true of a lot of people. And I know I'm not going to speak for everyone, but for myself, and I think it's true for a lot of people, when you have someone who is flawless like that, I find it less unique, and therefore I know I'm attracted to, I don't know, like when it's perfect, like you're saying, there's
If you think I'm going to help you at all, you son of a bitch, I am going to try to derail this and make. I am going to try to give you nothing. There is no quarter here. You're not even. It wasn't even getting bad, but I'm going to try to make you flail.
I'm just saying that, like, I think when you don't have any unique characteristics to your physical features, I know that I'm certainly attracted. And I'm not saying like you have to have like, not have an arm or something, but like when what am I trying to say here? I look at someone like Angelina Jolie and I'm like, you are like on all fronts, you are stunning to behold.
Okay.
And because of that, it's almost like I can't sexualize that. Like, and I'm not
Sure,
I'm not attracted to that.
It's too aesthetic.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right. I don't feel like I got dug too deep
No.
compared to you.
Because you know what I did?
What?
Because you know what I did?
What?
I agreed with you and I said, sure, I get you. That's what happened.
Is that what friendship is?
Not no.
Look, I need a boob mole. But that is
A boob mole.
That kind of
like it.
That kind of is that
Yeah.
basically summarizes it. Just things here or there that you're like, oh, that's unique to that person.
And that's exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that is your body, and that is the
Right.
body I love.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Jeff Ray, quote, I mean, they don't need to be missing an arm or something.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, if you're funny enough.
Goodness.
That was tasteless.
Oh.
That was tasteless.
Here we go.
But it was there, so I said it.
Here we go. Here we go.
It is
Here we
what
go.
It is what it is.
Good night. There we go. Oh my gosh! Wow. Oh, Kubrick. I mean, it's Kubrick's fault, really. He made this movie that inspires these conversations.
You find this man. you
find this one-armed man, and you bring him here because I want to fuck him. Hey, Josh. What's up, dude? Welcome. This is a train wreck on the Hindenburg.
Woo.
So if you saw someone who's just... how do you react when women flirt with you?
That's a good question. I'm not married, so I don't have to answer that.
I don't know if I can tell when that's happening. I just try to make everything into a joke.
Me too.
Yeah.
But sometimes that doesn't work either, because if you
Thank you so much, Josh. Yeah.
because if you know it's happening and you still try to be kind and make a joke out of it,
Yeah.
I've absolutely been had that argument where you're just like, oh, you're making that girl laugh, and you're like, well, what was it
Yeah.
supposed to do?
Yeah.
Literally turn around and walk away, like.
Yeah.
So basically the same as always, not noticed at all. Yeah, exactly. Then afterward, go, oh, yeah, fair. Loda tells him that he's not actually Howard Hughes. That's a true story.
What? Oh, for real?
Kind of. Would you
How-
rather make it cry? Yeah. Hey, Josh is you. By the way, guys, go follow Josh is you. How you doing, man? What were you up to? Yeah, I don't think I get flirted with much. I don't think that happens.
Are you just being modest? Or?
I'm not being modest. I have it has happened in the past. But I think they just see this and this. No, I think no. No. I will tell. I'll tell Jeff the Howard Hughes story just as soon as we get enough. We wrap this thing up. My brain is dead.
Okay.
I'm just.
Is
this
it
is
like
over.
this is like
I'm James Gunn's Twitter feed. This is all gone. I've just said too many things that didn't even mean anything. And I'm not making fun of James Gunn, by the way. I think that's never mind. I'll just shut my mouth.
You supporting James Gunn's earlier tweets?
I don't remember what they were.
Neither do I. I read them and I was like, why would
Yes.
you even put that out?
But I also was like, they're clearly whatever.
Well, I mean, I read what he said after that because he it was such a bum rap that what he got because he apologized for him years ago.
Yeah.
And he's clearly grown into another person, and he's learned from it, and he's grown, and he's a different person, and he has different outlooks, and it's like, cool. So you did the work, and now you've grown and learned, and that's what you're supposed to do in life.
Yeah.
I did read the tweets. I thought they were really dumb and not funny, but they were also 10 years ago, and it's just like, what do you do with a person, you know?
These motherfuckers. So much walking around in the desert. Yeah, I'd be exhausted too if I walked around in a 3-piece suit in the desert. I didn't make the game, you jackasses! Goodness gracious. Oh, man. No, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It's just more slow than I expected. And then everyone blew up and was like, you hate the game. It's because you're doing this. You're dumb. Shut up and whatever. And it's going to be fine. I'm going to play more. I played Red Dead 1 a little bit. And I'll play more of it. And it'll be fine. And if I like it, it's fine. And if I don't like it, it's fine. And everyone just stop. Hey, man. Let's talk about boobs. No. Yeah. Hold on. I'll just tell you the Howard Hughes story. Or are we gonna talk more about not Red Dead? Ice White. I can't even.
We can talk about Red Dead. Do you want to read some YouTube comments, or we could get in deep?
Yeah. As an actor, I suppose you don't enjoy getting into the roles of characters you play as in video games. I think that's weird. That's not acting though.
Just do what Ken says. Just play the game like a normal human.
Yeah.
And things will be okay.
We could, dude. You know what we're gonna do? Honestly, when it comes to partnerversary, we're gonna stream. We're gonna revisit Lowbro Souls and all those things, and we're gonna go through, and we are gonna read some YouTube comments.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I would love to take part in that.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
I would love to pull
read
some.
chat
I would
too.
go to like stuff on my own video. Like if you want to just have a night where we just read, I'll pull some of the worst ones I've ever received, and I'll just read them on air.
Yeah, that's great. That sounds great. Mean tweets. Yeah. I think most people, the point of playing a game is to be able to get in the role of characters and playing as. Yeah, but you know how sometimes different human beings feel differently about different things. Like sometimes you play a game and you go, "Oh, I'm not enjoying A, B, or C about this game." Well, I expected a shootout constantly, and I played it, and for whatever reason, either because I'm tired or because I am not connecting with the game for whatever reason, I just felt it was a little slow, and that doesn't mean that I am a defective person or am not an actor because I'm not getting into the role. It's just mine not connecting with a piece of media. Oh, yeah. Actually, I just want to do the video gaming action stuff. Right, because you know what I'm doing? Playing a video game. But I'm not playing a video game right now, so let's talk about other things. What did you expect from Spider-Man? I don't know. I didn't get it. Let's move on.
Hey, congratulations, Raccoon Buffoon.
Yeah. Red Wolf Rob, thank you so much for the team. I am tired. Scription. Thank you. Some. Scription.
Oh, this is a Kubrick thing.
Thank you
Appropriate.
for the subscription. Subscription. Thank you. Have you guys ever had the experience? Wait, what's happened to Raccoon?
Got their bachelor's or going for their bachelor's?
degree?
Wait, hold on.
Finish your final paper for the semester, guaranteed to get your bachelor's. That's amazing, guys. We get some hearts in
awesome.
chat for Raccoon. That's a big.
That's a big
deal.
old deal. Boom.
Okay,
Boom.
look at that graduation present. Thank you so much.
Boom. Boom.
Some. Why is 2001 in the background? Just because that's my regular sub notification. Thank you for the. He is new here. He just subbed. Thank you so much, Red Wolf from. Goodness gracious for that fresh sub, and Ken Coldblood for that gifted sub to Raccoon Buffalo. Lots and lots and lots of love. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Raccoon. And guys, welcome to the Lowbro Core. Enjoy your emotes. Yeah. Hit the showers. Welcome to the Detroit PD. Oh, yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Home Improvement because that's what I do with my time.
And
I love the way Tim Allen always.
oh yeah,
He's just like
you're right.
whenever he's like trying to salute men on his show, he's just like, and we go.
Salute to this.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Asian sound design for film and games. Whoa! Whoa!
Baby,
Fail.
I will hit you up in the future for my stuff.
Yeah. Hey, that was nice.
There you go.
Hey. What if eyes wide, shut was butts? That's what we talked about at the beginning. Eyes wide shut, but it's all butts. I like that a lot. AI was the only reason.
Boobs are the butts of the chest.
AI was the only reason. It's true.
Home Improvement is a good show when it's good, but boy, is it bad when it's bad. I am still in the good seasons.
Yeah.
I'm not into the older seasons yet. So
Eyes wide
when they grow up, but eyes wide butts.
I thought it said AI was the only reason I watched Home Improvement, which either meant the movie AI for some reason had some effect on your watching Home Improvement, or you were forced by artificial intelligence to watch Home Improvement, and then I realized it's Al.
Yeah.
Al Borland.
I don't think so, Tim.
Hello, neighbor.
That was his
I don't think
catchphrase.
so. Gosh, he was man. I don't know Richard Karn. I don't know him in anything else.
Family Feud.
That's true.
Yep.
Hello, neighbor. All of those are correct. Hey, Lars, we're doing all right, man. My stomach kind of hurts.
How long is this Howard Hughes story? I feel like you're running on E. Let's wrap this up.
I am on E.
All right.
Yeah, I'll tell you this,
Should
Howard
we-
Hughes. I did tell you this, Howard Hughes. Did I not? So one of the things I got a gig. I've done it twice now. I've gone up to a place, and they blindfold me. No, they don't. But I've gone up and done it.
I want you to save this. For
Hold on a
next
second.
week.
No,
I feel
it's
like
gonna
this
work.
Is gonna take
Hold
you
on.
half an hour.
No, you're gonna be good. It's good, and you're good, and we're all gonna be good, and this is the best. No, I went up to do a Howard Hughes impersonator. I went up as a Howard Hughes impersonator to be Howard Hughes at an event for the Howard Hughes Corporation. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I was walking around.
For real?
Yeah, it's true.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's great. It's very interesting. And I shaved a pencil-thin mustache and had a suit and whatever, and kind of like read up on Howard Hughes and stuff. And yeah, I guess I've already told this online. I was walking around the party, and there were varying levels of people. So basically, two things. They hired a guy in a parachute to fly over and parachute in, and he would land, run behind kind of like this bush that was kind of to whatever, change clothes in theory, and I would run out
Okay.
in a tux, and I'd have like the hat on and just kind of like, or the coat on in my arm or something, and I'd run out. And so it was great. It was a really fun thing. I loved it.
Yeah,
it was
that
really
sounds
great. And I
amazing.
walked around. Then the rest was going like just like hi Howard Hughes, very nice to meet you. Very, pleasure. Whatever. And talking like that, as if he was a Georgia farmer. And so I went around just kind of like, just talking to people and whatever, taking pictures. And it was great. I mean, it was really, truly fun. I've done it twice. I would do it again. It's great. But there were some interesting reactions to it. And there were several levels of understanding of what was happening that night. So one level was people were like, "Oh man, great, Howard Hughes impersonator, awesome, cool stunt with the thing that they did, cool." Other people thought I was a Howard Hughes impersonator, but that I had also parachuted in, and that was. I was
Great.
like, fine, cool, until someone was like, "My daughter here is about to go on her first parachuting trip. You've clearly done it a lot. Can you give her some safety tips?" And I was like, "This is a moment where I will not entirely
like, yes,
keep character for the safety of your daughter." And I was like, "Well, let me tell you, sometimes I do a thing these days where I'll have someone do the parachuting for me." And he was like, "Oh, interesting. But like, you still know how to, can you?" And I was like, "Well, sometimes," to the point where I finally was like, "It was somebody else. I didn't do it. I don't know. I can't give you safety tips. I don't want to say anything and cause something, whatever. This is a safety issue."
A spoon in your parachute pack is 1 spoon too many.
What you need is some Bazooka Joe bubblegum. You chew it the night before and everything goes lickety-split dandy.
Now, what's the third
So
level?
there were several levels. Yeah, and then so then it was interesting. Then I spoke to one person. This is bad. It sounds like I don't mean to make fun of it, but it was just very funny. It was a strange situation for me to be in. That's why this story is a story that I tell. Not very often, apparently. I talked to a guy who worked there, and he was like, "I just started working here." And I was like, "Oh, cool, very cool." I was like, "Well, good. Glad to have you aboard," and whatever. And he was like, "Cool." And then I went and was walking around, and eventually ran into someone who was married to that person. And she was like, "My husband just started working." He was like, "Oh, I believe I met that gentleman over there." And I was like, "Oh, I was very, very happy to have him aboard. He's doing a wonderful job so far, I believe." And this and that. And she was like, "Yes, and we just want to say thank you so much because it means so much to us." And I was like, "Right, of course, yes, of course, absolutely." And she's like, "No, really, it was such a wonderful opportunity, and thank you so much." And I was like, "Well, I don't, have a whole lot of, I don't generally do a lot of the specific hiring. It wasn't, And she goes, "But you own the company." And I was like, what's going on? I'm not Howard Hughes. And so I walked away and was like, that was confusing. And then saw them later, and then they were kind of joking around again, and I was like, okay, they get it. And then they're like, something, and then they're like, we're going to take a picture with a millionaire. And I was like, cool. And then it was like, no, never mind, whatever. And then as we were walking, she was like, "I just want to say thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you." And I was like, you don't think I'm Howard Hughes. You don't think I'm Howard Hughes. You don't think I'm Howard Hughes. Now, it's not as because I'm sure I'm saying Howard Hughes, and some people in this chat don't know who Howard Hughes is. I don't think it's that strange in 2018 for people of a certain age to not know who you are.
I would say.
But here's the thing: they work for the Howard Hughes Company. Mm-hmm. I would think.
Like a Richard Branson extreme.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, possibly like Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Although Steve Jobs is more in the public eye. Like, I don't know. Like, if you work for Amazon, do you necessarily know what Jeff Bezos looks like? I don't know. Or it's like.
If you're thinking if she would know what Howard Hughes even looked like, no.
But I mean,
I don't think most.
But
people,
the fact that he's been dead since 19...
Leonardo DiCaprio, which is not close at all.
No, yeah. It was like, yeah. And I think The Aviator did a lot for reminding people who Howard Hughes was, and people.
It's
and
a fantastic movie, but in terms of likeness, it's not even close.
But also I think it brought him back into the kind of the public eye, so people of a certain age again know who Howard Hughes is and know that he lived at that point, and maybe don't know, but like would assume that he had died, and he died in like 75 or something.
But maybe,
And so I was
It's highly possible that someone just that movie
Yeah.
skipped their life by completely, and
and they were just like like I was like, I'm not Howard Hughes. This is crazy. Thank you so much, Banner. And what's weird is then I talked to somehow, and then I talked to another member of the family who's an older gentleman, and he was like, hey, great job. You know, you did something. You jumping out of that plane, and so he got the whole thing.
Mhm.
And then later I saw them all together. And they were like, hey, it's Howard. And I go, hey. And like, we're talking and blah, 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 blah. And they go, and then I was like, he gets it. And then they were like, and then at the end, they were like, just thank you so much. And I was like, what is happening? You think I'm actually Howard Hughes?
what if this sounds like it's gonna turn into like you're gonna open like a door and then you're gonna be in an Eyes Wide Shut type ritual where they're like, hey, welcome. Here's real Howard Hughes' dead body. And now you two are going to mesh together and he's going to reanimate you. And that's what's going to happen. And we're all real delighted that you parachuted in. But he's about to parachute up your butt and take over your whole being.
And I go, well, the food was good. And the pay was generous.
You're like, show me. Okay, now I wanted you to continue the story where, like,
That's true, right.
periodically throughout the
There's
evening.
more to the story. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Continue.
please. No, go
No,
ahead.
no. Continue.
Well, so and then, but so there, and then later I walked around. So he said that, and then I walked around and saw that older gentleman again, who got it previously, and was like, he saw me and he was like, I have to apologize. I thought you were an actor. And I was like, I am an actor. What? You know who Howard Hughes is? And you thought I was Howard Hughes?
And he's part of the organization.
Well, they all were. Everyone worked for the company. It was confusing to me.
That's weird.
I was like, wait.
Old enough to have like.
Well, he knew who Howard Hughes was, and then I was like, do you think I'm Howard Hughes? And maybe it was just a thing where it's like it was like a thing where it's like, oh, but we don't know what's going on, but maybe he's the boss, because that was another thing that happened. So that's where the other thing comes in. Like there was this thing, they did this whole thing where it was like lights. It was great, and there was like a red carpet, and like they filmed me walking with people, and it was just
Stepping on light bulbs.
yeah. Wait, is that a thing?
That's from Aviator.
Okay, yeah, can't remember that. But this thing happened. This is how this whole thing came. This is like telling you a Howard Hughes story, which is about the flirt. So I was walking out at the end, and there were two women walking out who were youngish, and they're young, and I had at different times just stopped by different people and like made jokes with them and kind of like whatever, and joked about the parachute and stuff. And I'm on the way out. I'm taking pictures of the setup. They have this red carpet setup, and they have a bunch of posters of Howard Hughes movies. And I was like, "This is awesome. I was like, this is great." So I'm taking pictures of it. Show my wife, and I stop in front of one and start to take it, and the women who are kind of walking out at the same time as they go, "Oh, we want to be in it." And I was like, "Okay." And they run in front of it, and I go, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Do you want me to take a picture with your phone?" And they go, no, we want to be on your phone. And I was like, okay. I was like, sure. And I was like, just take the picture, okay, and explain to my wife later that they wanted to be in I just wanted to post in the, whatever. They're nice. And I walk off, and then they go like, and I was like, and we just are walking out at the same time down this red carpet, and I go like, did you guys have a good night? And they're like, well, did you have a good night? That's just important. And I was like, uh-huh. And then I go, oh. They don't think I'm Howard Hughes, but, and this is the other level, there were people who didn't think I was Howard Hughes, but thought, maybe they came late, thought I was the CEO of the company.
Oh.
And I go, these young women, and this is not, I'm not like attributing anything to this, but I'm saying like they thought that I was an incredibly rich person, which is kind of like a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I don't know if they work for the company or if they were just guys or whatever, but I'm walking out, and then it's just, and then they say, then I go, and like, they're like, did you have a good time? Is that whatever? And I was like, and it was just kind of whatever, and we're just kind of walking out, and I go, and then there's this feeling, and I go, I don't know if they're feeling this weird feeling, but it's like that feeling where it's like, that you
It's
don't.
like, let's go where the rainbow ends.
Well, it's like this thing where you go like, oh, this is a moment in time where if I were inclined to whatever, and those people were also inclined, something could happen. This is the beat in the time. Not like obviously at no point, my wife, I've told this to my wife, obviously, there's no point at any point where anything was going to happen. I don't even think necessarily that was on their minds at all. But it's like being in the presence of a celebrity where you're like, if you're the opposite sex of that celebrity, where if you were single, or even if like you're talking to, like, let's say you're in a bar and it's, I don't know, Jennifer Lawrence or someone, or like Angelina Jolie or whatever, and you're single and you're talking to them and it's going well and you just have a nice whatever, and then just at different points it would have to go like this is going well, we're getting along, and then just parts of your brain would jump to like, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if like we went home together or something. Not that you're gonna do that, not that you're whatever, but there's that energy there because it's like that's insane. This person is a special person and I'm near them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was fascinating to me. And it was like and I just kind of was like, you guys have a good night, and like just like walked off. But it was an interesting energy to be in, and I go, that is what it is like to be a famous person.
Yeah.
Because almost every interaction can be like that if you want it to be, or not like if you want to
every
be.
Situation could possibly end up in a three-way.
If you were to right. And like again, like the like I feel like that is not, I feel like that's whether anything was going on in their heads at all. That thought occurred to me, and that led to that because I was like, this feels weird and awkward and kind of flirty, and I was like, why is it flirty? And then I was like, oh, because they think I'm rich.
Yeah.
Not, which again is not giving them credit. I don't mean that. It just occurred to me, right? There's no indication of anything or whatever, but like it's just like I go, oh,
they just thought you were a high,
or like the
they
CEO
ran the
or
company,
yeah, and it's what an interesting
and
cold blood. I just go like, oh, that is in this completely artificial way. What an interesting insight. Like if I were Christian Bale or someone, or if I were just anybody, like literally anybody, like any notable celebrity.
You got like 30 seconds of it, and then like you were like, you know what's great about being married? Fucking your wife.
But it was just such a strange thing where I was like, whoa, and yeah.
Dude, that's
and I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. Because again, every interaction as a male or female celebrity with someone of the opposite sex, or someone of the same sex, or anyone who could be attracted to you, they're like, that's just another level of it, right?
But
like where people are gonna
isn't that a fascinating? That kind of just plays into the movie a little bit, and what we're talking
because that's
about.
that's his life, yeah.
But isn't that an interesting, but ultimately a lonely?
Yeah.
Because some people
exactly.
Like they get fame and then they buy into that notion completely, as if it's going to be there forever.
Sure.
And that it's like,
or as if that sort of thing would fulfill you ultimately.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they buy into that notion, and that leads to tragedy, and then the opposite end of that is just like, how can you? I look at people like Justin, like people give Justin Bieber such shit, and I'm like, I get it, because he has exhibited very dickish behavior in the past repeatedly, but B, when you are at a level of fame, and I mean, there's fame, and then there's like mega fame. Yeah, we'll just call it mega fame.
And he's been there since he was
and
like
he's
12
been
or something,
mega
right?
famous since he was like, 12.
Yeah,
12, 13 or something.
Yeah.
And then to grow up with that, I look at him now and I'm just like, oh, that's so sad. Like I would never want, like, no matter how much he's worth millions and millions and millions and millions, he'll never have to worry about money for the rest of his life. And also, I would never want that life. Yeah. Because it seems like crushingly lonely. Yeah. Because when you're that famous, and you've been that famous literally your entire life, more or less. Yeah. how do you know, like, that's a person that doesn't know how to trust a human being.
Right.
Like, not even his own parents.
It's a factor in everything.
It's a factor in literally everything you do. And it's just, how do you go through life?
Yeah.
Because from there on out, if he plays his cards right and he doesn't lose any of his money, even when his fame dwindles, he's still going to be him and have that in some way, shape, or form. And then he'll also be, everyone will know his net worth. It's an easily Google, you can just Google how much he's worth and people will know.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you navigate life in that type of scenario and have meaningful relationships with anyone?
Yeah,
with anyone.
It's crazy. Something that you never hear said is that, like, when you're famous, once you're famous, if you're famous enough, it's too late not to be famous.
Yeah.
You can't go back. You can't go back.
You can't turn that switch off.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Even if you're, I mean, it's just.
Because even if you're at that good level of famous and you try to shut it off, well, then it can just become the bad level of fame. Like, it's just, that's so true. You can't go back. And I don't think a lot of people who want fame, I fear fame in a very intense way. Like, that is not something I wish upon myself at all.
Yeah.
And I think so many people want it because they're trying to fill things from their past or their childhood or
validation,
validation or affection that they didn't receive. And they're trying to fill that with universal acclaim from other people or whatever. And it's not going to do that. And it's still distancing. And then you get into this, the ultimately tragic thing is when you get to that level, and then who the fuck, how are you supposed to build meaningful relationships after that?
Yeah.
Post famous.
Yeah. And you go like, oh, I'll just build it with other people who deal with the same thing, who are also famous. And you're like, they're also dealing with that same shit. And we're not wired to do that. Humans aren't wired for that.
They're not. Yeah. I mean, you're not wired to. That's again why Jesse James the movie is such a fascinating portrait, because he was one of the first people who dealt with celebrity on a scale in his own lifetime, not posthumously or whatever. Like, he was alive and revered as a gunslinging legend.
Yeah.
And it took a toll on him, at least in the film.
Yeah. Absolutely. I definitely, it occurred to me the other night, and I thought of a really good one. I can't remember anymore, but I definitely want to do a series on celebrity.
Yeah.
And Jesse James is one. There's a Woody Allen film called Celebrity, which I haven't seen.
I haven't really seen too many Woody Allen films.
Yeah. There's another one that I anyway, there are a couple more that I'm just like, that are like
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
It's not really.
But there are a couple out right now, A Star Is Born and Vox Lux.
Did you see
Birdman was one.
Oh yeah, that's
Birdman,
right.
And it was like that. Oh, there were other. It was like Birdman and because it was like the other side of somebody. Even something like Crazy Heart or The Wrestler.
Crazy Heart was such a great movie. Yeah. Did you see A Star Is Born?
I've not. I really want to see it.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed.
Good for him. Dude.
I mean, truly, he's the best part of the movie. I enjoyed her. Once her story started to take over a bit more, but boy, Bradley Cooper in that movie was fucking phenomenal.
Vox looks really interesting. I'm
yeah,
in seeing that. So the ending of
yeah. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster. He did it up real nice in that movie. I hope he gets nominated for a bunch of shit. Not that awards matter, but still.
That Tom Hanks type of show up uninvited at weddings and makes it. See, and that's the thing is that like there is that other side of fame where you can use it for good things. You can even use it, to just make someone's, like, that's a story for the rest of someone's life when they meet you.
I just love what Keanu Reeves does. Keanu Reeves, every 6 months or a year, pops up in the news, completely not of his doing, but because someone found out that he anonymously donate a shitload of money to a children's center, or has been supporting someone, or just weird shit all over the place.
Yeah, and I mean that's like your power, your money, and the money and influence. Yeah, you can use it for great ends. And that's good. I mean
Are you talking about the film Widows, Red?
Yeah, I did not see that.
I saw it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't interested by the trailer, but
I am a huge Steve McQueen fan. There is merit to the film. I didn't like it. I didn't think it worked. I was bored with it.
Oh my gosh, it's 2:40 in the morning. We were not gonna.
What?
We weren't gonna do this anymore.
Well,
It's too late.
dang, we've been talking for that long.
Yeah. And
This is the longest one we've done.
Yeah, considering how tired we were when we started.
Shouldn't have had some of this coffee.
Oh man. Hey, well, I guess we kind of talked about Eyes Wide Shut. Talked a lot about.
I think we hit a lot of major points.
Yeah.
And we talked about acting, which was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was great.
And then I just like destroyed everything by just saying some things that people reacted to poorly, and then reacted poorly to that.
Well,
and it's
you
just all
don't-
dead.
You just don't know how to talk about boobies.
Boobies are they're helpful. They are nutritious.
He's starting up again.
Yeah, here we go. We gotta go. Guys, lots of love. So I need to talk. We need to talk about Die Hard. Yeah, that's coming up next. We're gonna get Moody in on it. But here's the deal. We're going out of town on like the 20th. And it's scheduled for the 23rd. Now we can do it before then, or we can do it after Christmas. We're gonna
I'll
talk
be on
about-
until the 2nd.
You'll be gone till the 2nd? Okay. Well, when are you leaving? We're going to talk about this later. But I really do want to do.
I mean, that we've been building to.
I mean, we are doing it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Because, like, the 20th is, like, a few days away.
I mean,
I
we
mean,
might just have to do it.
yeah, I think so. Because otherwise we end up doing it after Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. Have to get Moody on the horn.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you doing Sling Blade?
That's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Call it a Sling Blade.
Oh, my mouth was doing Sling Blade.
Some folks say, I don't think Billy Bob Thornton. Hey, what time is it? Oh, hey, we didn't actually. So you think yes? You think
It's
it is
a Christmas movie for sure.
No. Eyes Wide Shut.
It's absolutely a Christmas
I
movie.
think it is not.
Well, that's because you're dumb.
We got to. Well, there you go. We got to talk about it for 2 more hours now. Look, I just think if you take it out, it's this. It's the same.
It's not at all. They integrate it perfectly. They
Well,
used it thematically. They used it on a visual
But
motif
what do you?
level.
Yes, but what do you lose? What do you lose without Christmas? What do you lose?
The contrast of the wholesome aesthetic of the holiday and what it brings to, and how it contrasts with the loneliness of the characters.
So for you, it's a pervasive thing, and because the lights are in every scene.
I mean, it's not
saying-
used as it's not like Home Alone or Gremlins or anything where Christmas is viewed in a positive light. It's used as it's anti-Christmas, but
But I think it's
just used to highlight the pervasive themes of the film by contrasting it with this surrounding it in a wholesome holiday, and then walking through this what is supposed to be a wholesome holiday thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back though.
I'm just saying it's not traditional.
Yeah,
But if you can't take it out and it'd be the same film, you lose a lot.
because what are the scenes that would be irrevocably changed?
all of them.
Okay,
Because
because you're saying it's
Because the the holiday
you're saying it's an
atmosphere
over-
permeates the entire film,
okay.
which is why I'm right.
I disagree that it does that, but that's fine.
If you took those out, what would you put in there?
Nothing. It doesn't need to be Christmas.
That's why you're not Stanley Kubrick.
Also, because I like things that you can. I'm just gonna stop. That are like a real. Sorry. And black. Thank
So there you go. He doesn't think it's a Christmas movie. I do.
Yeah. I mean.
No, I don't think it's a wholesome movie. I
No,
think
no.
I think it uses
And
the
it doesn't
wholesome
have to be.
exterior of the Christmas holiday to contrast the perversiveness of the film.
Well, and here, and it doesn't. And a Christmas movie doesn't have to be positive. It just has to be Christmas, or the themes of Christmas have to be central, or.
What we just said last week
vital
was
to
that if you
Take Christmas out
could
of
you
it.
take Christmas out of it and it still be the same movie, and I don't think it could.
I do. So I guess we just don't agree, and that's fine, because we are going to be a model, a shirtless model. We're going to be a model of people disagreeing civilly on the internet.
Yeah.
Because it is 4:00 in the morning, and we're going to die if we don't.
Yeah.
So here you go, man. I'm going to do that Schwarzenegger Carl Weathers thing.
Oh wait, hold on. What's his name?
I can't remember. Carl Weathers, you son of a bitch.
And then you gotta show your muscle. But they like hooked it like this to get maximum.
Yeah, right. But see mine. See mine, dude. Look at me, Corrigan. Oh, crap. You're right.
I'm glad that you got that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up over there? Okay, cool. We're gonna. Yep, I think that was perfect.
Yeah. Firing on all cylinders over here.
Yep. Only thing that was missing was an audible on-camera fart. Which I got. It's coming. I can't. All right, guys. Thank you for your forgiveness and and let's go get.
Ew, gross.
What? No, man.
Oh, he just farted.
No, if I fart now, it'll be a pee fart, and I'll pee a little bit. You know when you fart so bad you pee?
When you got a full bladder and you're trying to crank one out.
Yeah. Should we have cut first? We should have cut this.
We should have ended on the high five.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't.
We should. We can still time.
See you guys apparently very soon. We'll see how that goes.
4 hours. All right. Hold on.
Good night.
Oh! What's going on?
Ew.
No.
That was gross.
No, man. No, dude. No. All right, we're going to raid Neptura, and we're just going to pretend this one didn't happen. We're not going to save this one because, goodness gracious. Say goodnight to William Sadler, everybody. Good night to William Sadler, everybody. Lots and lots of love, and we will be back soon, sooner than you're ready. I'm sorry for everything. Go say hi to Neptura for me, please, and ask him what he's doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll see you soon. Good night. I'm never coming back. No, Red Wolf Rum. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you soon. Bye, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with some SL1, Dark Souls, and who knows? We'll play some more Red Dead at some point, and we'll do some stuff. I don't know. Bye, guys.